Hi, hey, good morning. Let's do a Q&A. Let's do a Q&A today. It's 7 a.m. in San Francisco. I'm not ready for this live stream, okay? I don't have on earrings. I don't have my hair finished, okay? But let's see what we can get accomplished before most of you join in. Oh, gosh, I feel like I just made it worse. Listen, I'm just going to pat it, roll it, mark it with a B. Okay, let's, um, let's do a Q&A today. It's 7 a.m. and I'm in San Francisco. So I don't have any, I don't have yet my, I don't have yet my, I don't have myself together yet. So let's get me together, and we'll do a Q&A. If you have any questions about whatever, house sitting, moving abroad, you're going to ask questions about YouTube stuff, whatever. You run the show today. That's what we're going to do until you run out of questions. So group assignment, okay? I'll tell you, I'm in San Francisco. I left Fiji 2 days ago. I've been in my San Francisco hotel for 2 days. Had an Exodus Summit meetup in the hotel yesterday. It was wonderful to meet you guys. Well, they're not watching because it's so early in San Francisco. They're not watching, okay? They'll catch the replay. But it's been a nice couple of days. And this afternoon, when I check out of my hotel, I'm headed to Yosemite National Park. Super excited about that. Super excited. I guess let me introduce myself and then we'll just head right into the questions. If you have a question, just put the letter Q in front of your question so I'll know to stop there and answer that question. Okay, I don't have anything on my elbows. Let me put some stuff on my elbows at least. When the clock struck 6:40 today, and I was still in the bed, and I needed to be live at 7, and I needed to shower and everything. Sometimes I'm like, this is not part of the Q&A. Sometimes I'm like, well, I could wait and shower after the live stream, but I like to get my hair a little wet. It's easier to move around when it's wet. So then I'll be like, well, I might as well take a full shower. If I'm going to wet my hair, I might as well take a full shower. So, and then I was like, it's early. I need to put on the makeup. I need to get my eyes looking awake, alert. So all of that meant that I apologize. All of that to say I apologize for being late. Thank you for your patience with me. Also, it's not super bright in my hotel room. I didn't feel like opening up my big suitcase to get the light out. I carry a light with me for these purposes, but I didn't feel like opening up my suitcase to get that. So it's going to look a little dark. The video is going to look a little dark, but I think we can manage. Okay. Hi, I'm Stephanie. I didn't introduce myself or anything. I'm Stephanie, house sitter, creator of House Sitter School, and co-creator of Exodus Summit. On this channel, I help Black women take a sabbatical or career break. I help Black women move abroad. I help Black women bop around as a nomad while embracing ease. If any of these things sound good to you, hit subscribe, please, and turn on notifications, ring the notification bell, so that you'll be notified when I post a new video or when I go live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, okay, who's here? Good morning, Michelle and Susie. Um, There's a meetup in the DMV today. If you're inside the Exodus Summit Facebook community, go to events. Inside of the Exodus Summit Facebook group, there's a special tab for events. Go there, check out meetups. Summertime meetups are in full swing. And there's a meetup somewhere in the DMV, and there's a meetup in Philly. I think there's a Longwood Gardens meetup in Philly today. Lots happening, lots happening. So go there, check that out. Good morning, Kemi. Good morning, Winnie. DG, hi Stephanie. Can you drop a skin and hair color routine? You're always glowing. Thank you. Okay, we'll make this the first Q in our Q&A. My A is, uh, let's see, skin and hair. I'm like, which one? So my hair color changes based on where I am in the world and what box hair dye I can buy, right? And that's why, and I only dye my hair 2, maybe 3 times a year if I'm feeling froggy, right? Twice a year I dye my hair, and I use box dye. This one was some sort of auburn something. You're not going to see it really good because I don't have good light, okay? Auburn something. It's that Schwarzkopf that we used to see all the time in the U.S. that I don't see very much, but I bought the dye in Costa Rica. Okay. Skincare is more interesting, I think. I like Peter Thomas Roth serum moisturizer. The moisturizer is called Water Drench or something. And the face wash is like a peach scented face wash, which is probably like something about anti-aging something. It's orange. It's orange inside the bottle. I love them. I also like the Olay Super Serum. Actually love. I love the Olay Super Serum as well. It used to be called something else, and they repackaged it, maybe reformulated it, but I still love it. The Olay Super Serum plus the Peter Thomas Roth Water Drenched Moisturizer and Anti-Aging Wash and Serum are my go-tos. I spent maybe 6 months not using them. And then I remembered, oh, that's, because I ran out, right? And I wasn't using them for maybe 6 months. And then I went back and bought everything, re-upped on everything. And I was like, oh, yeah, my skin is back, right? My face looks good. Having said that, I drink a lot of water, a lot of water. You see me during the live streams, I drink constantly. I drink constantly all the time. I drink a lot of water and I get a full night's sleep. That's skin and hair. Skin and hair. I'm pouring tea. I forgot to go get water. There's a water and ice machine, but I forgot to go get water and ice. You know how hotels do you. Water's not free in this hotel. So I had to boil some water in my little teapot. So I'm going to make a little bit of tea. Tea is not my thing, but you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you have to suffer. When you're unprepared and you don't have time to go to the water machine to get water, and the water in the room is $6. This is $6, right? When the water that they leave you is $6, I'm like, I'll suck it up and drink tea. Oh, do I have one in my backpack? I've got an Earl Grey here. I took some tea from the other place. The hotel that I was at had a tea called Silver something. And I just turned 50. It was my silver anniversary of being a person. So I did grab a couple of those tea bags too, but I think they're in my suitcase. I don't think they're in my backpack. So I'm gonna get some tea since I don't have water to drink. I was gifted a few things. Let me tell you a couple stories while you're getting your questions into me. Rashida and I and Catrice stayed in the resort in Fiji, the Marriott Fiji Momi Bay. Okay. We stayed in the Marriott and it was wonderful. When we got there, there was a retreat happening. A black woman saw me and Rashida checking in, came over to us because she was like, "Are you here for the retreat?" She was the creator of the retreat. Her name is Cassandra. She was the retreat host, and she came over, and we were like, "No, no, we're just here, right?" And so she was warm and friendly and really nice to meet her. Her Instagram handle, the retreat's Instagram handle is Paradise, Paradise and Vibe on Instagram. Um, she told us that she had 42 or 44 people coming for her retreat. And I was like, that's awesome. That's exciting. She didn't tell us Elizabeth Gilbert was one of the speakers of the retreat. And also author Kemi Nekvapil. I don't think I ever heard her say her last name. She may have pronounced her last name. These were the speakers, Kemi and Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, were two of the presenters at the retreat. And on my last day, Kemi walked up and gave me her book. She's like, "Happy birthday, here's my book," which was very kind of her. So I packed it to read it this week while I'm in Yosemite. It's called The Gift of Asking, A Woman's Guide to Owning Her Wants and Needs Without Guilt. So I met them. We talked. They were very kind and very wonderful. And Elizabeth Gilbert, let me show you what she gave me. In case you don't follow me on Instagram, I'll show you. Kemi gave me her book, and then Elizabeth Gilbert, who as I said, is the author of Eat, Pray, Love, handed out stickers to people as we were boarding our flight. She was on my flight. So she gave me a "You Are Loved" sticker, and I just put it in my wallet so that I'll see it all the time. Yeah, so that was really nice. That was fun. So the women or the people, there was more than women, there were people in the retreat. The people inside of the retreat raved about the sessions. So I'm excited to read The Gift of Asking. Asking one time when I was house sitting in Mexico for the first time, so it had to be 2018. There was a shooting star. I was outside taking the dogs out for their final potty break, and I saw a shooting star. And I said out loud to the dogs, "Shooting star, I gotta make a wish." And then I couldn't get any wish out of my mouth. I couldn't get any words to come out. I couldn't say, even though I was alone except for these dogs, I couldn't say out loud what I wanted from my life or what I wanted for tomorrow. I couldn't ask out loud for anything. And that really struck me. I never thought of myself as a person who couldn't ask for what she wanted. But here I had a free pass to ask for what I wanted, and I just couldn't get anything out. And that was the last day. That was the last day I have been a person who couldn't ask for what she wants. But there's always levels to it, right? I'm living the life of my dreams today because I'm living out the things that I wanted from myself. But every round goes higher, higher. So I'm really excited to learn from her, to refocus a little bit this week coming up on what do I want and how do I ask for it. Um, I'm really excited about this. This is really good timing. I'm really glad to be going into 50 with some new wants, with some behind me wants, right? And to be able to think about how do I ask for those things? How do I ask for the things that I want in my life? So that was really nice. Fiji was amazing. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get to some Q&A questions and answers. If you have a question, just put Q in front of it. Okay? That way I'll see it. Good morning, Tracy and Delina. Good morning. Lifting as we climb, consulting wellness services. Kimani threw me and April threw me and Rashida the best birthday party in Los Angeles. Thank you very much for that. Hola, Alicia and Kimberly. Hey, MJ. Hey, guys. Hey, Phyllis. Good morning from Louisiana. Hey, Black Women Build Wealth. Hola. Crystal, good morning. Hope and victory. Do I have a morning routine? No. Routines are things that I would like to build into my life to have better days and nights, but I don't. I haven't done it. For the last 2 years, I think that's been on my, um, what do we call it? Vision board. Build out a routine. I haven't done it. Well, I've created a routine. I don't use it, right? My ideal morning actually starts the night before. My ideal evening that helps me move into the next day feeling great, right? I just want to feel good. My ideal nighttime routine would include me shutting off my devices at least an hour or two before bedtime, would include me setting the stage for sleep with some music. Because I fall asleep so easily and I sleep pretty well, I don't do things to get myself prepared for sleep like I think I could. But yeah, it would include some music, maybe a little candle, some maybe end of the day journaling, and definitely some end of the day, like, what do I want to do tomorrow? Not because I want to be super productive, but because days are just flying by, right? Days are flying by. And so there are things that I want to do during the day or during a week. And I look up and the week is over, the month is over. So just setting up myself the night before for like, here are a couple of things. If I do these things tomorrow, I'll be in a better position for future Stephanie, right? I'll put future Stephanie in a better position, right? Um, so my ideal morning routine starts with a bedtime routine. My ideal bedtime routine would be that. Couple hours, shutting down devices, listening to some music, setting the stage for good sleep, and figuring out what are my must-dos for tomorrow. And then that means my ideal morning routine, the mornings that I love, right, that I probably actually accomplish once or twice a month, right, but which I would love to do every day, include doing the things that require a lot of brain power very first thing in the morning. So writing. In my future, I'm moving towards the life of an author, right? My author life means I wake up and I write for the first hour or two every day. I have it like that. I got it like that. I don't have anybody else right now who's demanding my mornings. So ideally, I would wake up about before, in Costa Rica, the sun rises early. I would wake up a little before the sunrise and I would start writing. Maybe wake up at 5 and write from 5 to 6 or 5 to 7. And then I would get outdoors and walk or run. I'm signed up for the Barbados Half Marathon. So my ideal morning routine is write, run. If I can get to, and then come back and maybe journal. I don't think I'm a person who needs to journal every day, but maybe journal. If I can do those things, then I've set myself up for the future to be better, right? Future Stephanie will be happy with me if I have written some words, maybe for an hour, maybe for 20 minutes, right? If I've written some words every day on a book, right? Whether it's nonfiction or fiction, whether it's about a house sitter who solves crimes or Black women quitting their jobs or something. If I've written some pages and I've gone outside and walked or run or done whatever I'm doing in the future, I may not be a runner. We got to see what my needs say. I am running the half marathon in December, but running may not be my future. It may be tennis or whatever, right? But if I've gotten out of doors and I've done then by the time 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning rolls around, I have set future Stephanie up for success to make her like me. I've made sure future Stephanie is pleased with what I did that day. And that would be my ideal morning routine. But I don't do it, right? There's probably 2 days a month where I do that. I'm not, yeah, I'm not doing them now, but I know that those things would make me have a better day, week, life. Okay. All right. How are we doing? Yeah, $6 water. They even printed out coasters, just so you know, right? The hotel printed out coasters. Here the price. Ain't nothing free. There's a whole beverage shelf here. It's a Marriott property, but there's a whole beverage shelf of things you could buy. There's Patron. There is St. George gin. There is batch and bottle margarita. They got a whole wine shop, a whole liquor store in the hotel room, and can't give you free water. Got a whole the refrigerator is super stocked. I ordered some food for dinner yesterday, and I needed to refrigerate the rest of it. I got wonton soup. I have the rest of my wonton soup in the refrigerator, and it was so full, I had to pull all the cans of soda out to fit my wonton soup in there. And yeah, all this stuff and can't give you a bottle of free water. That's how they do nowadays. Ain't no hospitality in the hospitality industry. Yes, Silver Jubilee was the tea. Yes, thank you, Arlene. Silver Jubilee was the tea that they had stocked, one of the teas they had stocked in my hotel room in Fiji. So I took a few of them because, it's my Silver Jubilee, okay? But I don't think they're here. I think I have my backpack right here. I don't think they're here. I think I put them inside my suitcase. Yeah, it's my Silver Jubilee. So I was like, oh, that tea is for me. Thank you. I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, let me drink some. Let me drink some of this. Feeling a little dry. Okay, Dee Dee, because it's dry. I keep saying Houston. I'm in San Francisco. It's a little dry. The air's a little dry here. My face was all tight this morning. It's a little dry. Dee Dee, I'm planning to travel for a year, beginning January 2025. Wonderful. How many suitcases did you travel with on your year abroad? I started out with a full-sized check bag. It was a rolling, it was really technically a rolling duffel bag, but I started with a full checked bag and realized very quickly that I had too much stuff with me. What did I have? I had the rolling duffel bag, which was a full size check bag, and then I had Oh, I had that burgundy backpack. So I had a backpack that was bigger than this. I don't know if this is helpful. I had a backpack that was bigger than this, but still was fine for plain carry on. And I quickly realized I had too much stuff. I did almost all of my travel in Southeast Asia, and so I was wearing the same outfits over and over. It was hot, right? Say once I got out of Malaysia and didn't need the maxi dresses and the long sleeve stuff anymore, I got rid of a lot of clothes and I downgraded my suitcase to a carry-on size rolling suitcase. I kept the backpack. I probably got a different backpack, but it was the same size. So then I moved to a carry-on suitcase and a backpack so that I could be carry-on only. Remember that I was on a super tight budget. I was on a $1,200 per month budget, which meant that checking a bag was not in my budget. If checking a bag is in your budget, check a bag. Like seriously, just check a bag. The hassle and struggle and stress of uh, trying to fit everything on carry-on is not worth it unless it's worth it because of the money, right? So that's what I had. That's what I downsized to when I traveled full time. Now that I travel even more, and I moved pretty slowly. Well, there were days when I moved every 3 or 4 days. I was on a bus or a plane or a ferry or a train. But there are also times when I stayed in one place for 30 days. 30 days? I don't know if I ever stayed more than 30 days in one Airbnb or one location. So yeah, I moved pretty quickly then. Now that I move a lot more slowly, listen, I got so much luggage with me. My parents, my parents and I are going together from Delaware to Florida in a couple of days, in a few next week. And I was like, I want to come with y'all, but I got a lot of luggage. And I'm flying back from Florida. I'm going to fly back to Costa Rica. And I'm like, I got a lot of luggage. I don't know if I can go with y'all. I don't know if I can fit. Right? You got your luggage. I'm going to have my luggage. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know what car we could fit in. Right now, I have a medium sized suitcase, a carry on size suitcase, and I have a relatively, I guess, medium sized duffel bag. I don't know. TJ Maxx duffel bag, maybe like this, full of stuff. So I've got two check bags and a carry on and a backpack. But now I move a whole lot more slowly, usually, except for the last, little bit. The week in Anaheim, a week in Fiji, 2 days here, a week in Yosemite, 2 days in New York, right? But normally, I go to Costa Rica and I sit there for 90 days or more. So was that helpful, Dee Dee? How many suitcases did I travel with? It was always a carry-on and something. So either a carry-on and a backpack or a carry-on and a checked bag. Take as little as possible if you're bopping quickly. But having said that, still, if checking a bag is going to give you a little bit of peace, check a bag. If you can afford it and you're stressed out about stuff, check a bag. JD Turner, did I make reservations at Yosemite? Yes, because somebody here told me. Might have been you, JD. Somebody told me. So I went onto the site, the National Parks Department, and made a reservation. So I have a 3 day pass. On the first day, so here's what they told me. My thing is for July, I think 16th, 17th, and 18th, or 17th, 18th, and 19th. The first day I can only go in after 12 noon. And then the other days I can come anytime. So I did get my pass. Thank you for everyone who told me to do that because I wouldn't have thought to do that. And then I would have gotten there and been sorely disappointed. Yeah, I made my reservation to actually get into the park. There is a wildfire close by, the French fire, I think. But last I checked, it said 85% contained. The wildfire is actually right in the same area as my Airbnb. But I think it's probably under control now. I think I'm gonna make it. So that's the plan. But yes, I did. Hi, Winnie B. Did you tour the Fiji Islands? I did not. I did nothing in Fiji. I got on that resort and I stayed there. We stayed in the Marriott Fiji Marriott, Momi Bay. It was beautiful. When we got there, it was more beautiful than I thought it was. It was more beautiful than I thought it was going to be. We didn't tour the Fiji Islands. Now, Catrice did some things around the island that Rashida and I did not do. So Catrice did see some stuff. She went out on a boat tour. She saw some of Fiji. No, but what I did see was amazing. People in Fiji seem to be the best people. They were really happy to see some black women traveling there, and they treated us like royalty. They treated us like royalty in Fiji. So I recommend it. Fiji Airways, Rashida just posted on her Instagram. Fiji Airways has a sale from Southern California, $699 round trip from Southern California or Northern California. I would go. If I was you, I would go. I would check out typhoon season. I think December, January, February. I think that's what I read. December, January, February. You don't go to Fiji. Okay? Typhoon season, you don't go. But the rest of the time, go to Fiji. It was amazing. It was not humid. The temperature was in the low 80s, and it was like very, very not humid. Walking around like, oh, I'm not sweating. It was nice. The ocean water was cooler than Mauritius. Wasn't like Mauritius. Mauritius, that water was warm. But getting in the ocean, the water was warm. Fiji wasn't like that, but it was like, oh well, it's cold. I'm still getting it. It wasn't like it's cold. I'm not getting it. It wasn't that cold, right? It was cool, not cold, I guess. It was wonderful. But no, listen, no, I saw the resort and the airport. But Catrice, who went around Fiji, said she had the same experience over and over again with the Fijian people. They were wonderful to her, wonderful, wherever she went. So it was fantastic. Oh, Disney girl Tinkerbell, good morning from Panama, my new home of 3 days. Congratulations. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying it. The in between. Hi, it's Tracy. Hi, Tracy. How is the food in Costa Rica? While I'm investigating, beans and rice sounds like a lot of carbs. Is the food different in Limon with diversity and spices? Oh, so Costa Ricans eat rice and beans all the time, right? Typical. The typical breakfast, the typical lunch, the typical dinner, rice and beans and some kind of meat is what you eat there. Unless you go to you go to a restaurant. There's Italian restaurants. There's P.F. Chang's. I never really ate at P.F. Chang's in the United States, but in Mexico, I'll be like, let me go to P.F. Chang's. That chicken noodle soup is good. Um, how in Limon, I didn't experience the food being any tastier, right? It was rice. I like rice and beans and plantains. I'm gonna eat it for the platanos, right? If they be like, yes, and platanos, I'll be like, can you give me a little extra platanos? I want some plantains on my plantains. They're very good. Um, I don't remember. I don't think in Limon there was any more spices. Limon is on the Caribbean side. I was in Puerto Viejo, the little beach town. I don't remember experiencing any more spices in the food. No, no, no. I think I remember it being exactly the same. Maybe I was just, I was only in Puerto Viejo for not even four. Was it 4 days, 5 days? So maybe I didn't experience the best of that area, but I'm saying I don't recall being like, oh, this food is different from what I was eating in San Jose. Okay, no. If you're gonna get sick of rice and beans, I think you can still enjoy Costa Rica, right? Just go to other restaurants. Go to restaurants that are not just the Costa Rican restaurants with the typical breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All right. I'm just scrolling through the chat. Just look for questions. If you don't have questions, that's fine. You know I'll talk. How long am I in San Francisco? I got here. That was a little funny thing. I got here Thursday night or Thursday afternoon, and I leave Saturday afternoon. So 2 days. Only 2 days in San Francisco, but I'm going to Yosemite for 6 days. Um, this is my first time ever experiencing the same day twice because I crossed back over the international date line. So I left Fiji on the 11th of July I think my flight was 10 or 11 p.m. in Fiji. Got on the plane, slept all night, slept really well on Fiji Airlines. First time I really slept really well on an overnight flight. got to San Francisco, it was still the 11th, and it was like noon or 1 p.m. So it was my first time repeating the same day twice. I repeated July 11th twice. Uh, but that doesn't mean I did anything different. They let me in my hotel. They let me check in a little bit early because I finally hit gold elite status with Marriott Bonvoy. Thank you kindly. They let me check in early, and I laid down and took a nap. When I got here, I was like, I'm going to try to tough it out and get back on schedule, right? But when I got here, I laid down in that bed and took a nap, and then went to sleep for bed at bedtime. So, how long am I in San Francisco? 2 days, but I've only done nothing. I've done nothing except for the meetup. There was some sort of festival right outside yesterday, literally right outside. I finally walked out of the door after the meetup ended. It was maybe 4 o'clock. I walked outside and there was a festival right on the corner, starting on the corner. And then their music, there was like a performance. I Googled it, but Google didn't tell me what it was. I had no idea who was performing. Crowd seemed to like it. And then about 5 minutes to 10, it just went quiet. They were like, okay, we're done. Party done. So that's what's happening. Hey, Alicia, Life with Alicia. Am I still doing virtual assisting? No, I'm not. When I quit my job in 2015 to travel for a year, I came back and went to work as a hospital pharmacy technician for just 3 months, and then I left again and went to South Africa. Took the money that I earned for those 3 months of working, went back to South Africa, and I needed a way to make money to travel, to keep traveling. And so I started out doing virtual assistant work. Um, my business was called Social Stephanie, and I thought I was going to do social media management. I learned very quickly that that didn't pay and was a lot of work for the pay. So I switched into a different form of virtual assistant where I did lead magnets and landing pages for coaches. Um, and that is one of the ways that I ate so that I could be in South Africa for those, I guess, 2 or 3 months, and then I went some other places. So I don't really remember where I went after South Africa. I came home, I know, but I don't remember what was next. And then I started house sitting. But no, I'm not still doing virtual assistant work. I think if anyone is starting or doing virtual assistant work and having a hard time with it, I think the key is to pick clients who can pay you. I know that sounds simple, but you'd be surprised. I was a virtual assistant who wanted to help new coaches, but new coaches are not yet making money in their business and they don't have the money to pay me. I chose a specialty, a niche that meant that I was never going to make good money as a virtual assistant. So pick experienced people in your field or in their field, whatever you're doing. If you're a virtual assistant and you're just going to do email inbox management or something, right? Whatever you're going to do, make sure that you're targeting coaches or make sure that you're targeting business owners who are already making money. Okay? Don't target the new people like I did. I don't know what I was thinking. Frankly, I don't know what I was thinking, okay? Don't only, right? Make sure that you're setting yourself up to be a successful virtual assistant who can be paid by clients. I think it's important to target people who are already making money in their business. I think it's also important to target people who see the value in the work that you do, right? So I made it my mission to teach coaches why they needed an email list and why they needed to create a lead magnet and a landing page. And that was a fool's errand. Let someone else teach people why they need these things. I should have positioned myself for people who already knew they needed these things. Come to me, I'll help you. Okay. Instead, I tried to teach them why they needed it. So I spent so many hours in my week going different places online and teaching people why they needed these things, and then a couple hours of actual paid work making the thing. And then because I did lead magnets and landing pages, they don't need me again for maybe ever. If the lead magnet is good, you only need one, right? So I'm not even getting repeat customers. So the third thing I think a virtual assistant needs or should consider is there a way to get repeat customers? Is there a way to serve this same customer again and again? That's not necessary. If you're building something, if you're doing a project for people that's $5,000, okay, check, right? You're done. Now you move on to the next client and the next client and the next client. You don't necessarily need repeat customers, but for me, it would have been nice, right? Repeat or referral, a way to get people, repeat customers or referral customers or both would have been helpful to me as a virtual assistant. But now what I do instead is I teach people how to not make those mistakes. And I'm on the other side now as a business owner who pays people to help me inside of my business. I have a little different approach, a little different insight. So, like in the Get Your Next Three Clients challenge, we always have a couple of virtual assistants in that challenge. This time we had two or three virtual assistants in the Get Your Next Three Clients challenge that Rashida and I hosted back in June. And so now I'm like, let's talk about your business model. Virtual assistants always jump out to me because it's near to my heart. It's something that I did. It's something that I did that did help me eat. It did feed me, but I did it the harder way. So I'm all in on people taking their skill set and making a business out of it, right? A skill set that you already have. And I think that that is what virtual assistant work is. I think that most virtual assistants already have the skill set that they need to be a successful virtual assistant. What you need is a business model, right? What you need is a business model that is going to help put money in your pockets. So I do help with that inside of the Get Your Next Three Clients challenge. I don't know when we're hosting it again, okay? But you can get on the wait list at exodussummit.com/next three clients. I think if you're a virtual assistant or want to be a virtual assistant who is out in the world talking a talk like I did, right? Talking about the email list and the lead magnet. If you want to do that, my YouTube challenge might also be very helpful. If you want to set up a full YouTube channel about that thing, right? If you're a virtual assistant who helps people with their inbox, right? If you want to set a full YouTube channel up that talks about inbox stuff and email stuff and productivity stuff, I'm with it, right? I'm with it. I think that's a great idea. And my YouTube challenge can help you with that. Um, Vacarious.com/challenge. You can get on the wait list for that here. Okay. And then I have a 10 YouTube tips for coaching resource that gives you 10 tips for coaches. Well, for coaches or for business owners, really. It's for people who need to get clients online. Okay, 10 YouTube tips for coaches is what it's called, but it's 10 YouTube tips for people who are using YouTube to get clients online, and that's vicarious.com/coaches. Okay, so those are some resources that I'd point you to. How was that, Alicia? Do you have other questions about virtual assistant things? Um, if anybody has any other virtual assistant questions, feel free to ask. But that's my best advice. Focus on a clientele, focus on providing a service that focus on a clientele who's already making money, right? A type of business, a field or something that is already making money, okay? And then focus on people who know they need your services already, I think. Unless you want to be the teacher, focus on people who already need your thing. And then it would be nice if you also do a thing that can be repeatable, like that they'll need you again and again, or that will give you strong referrals or both. That third one is not required. It's not required. But if you're not getting repeat customers, you need to make sure that you're charging enough with every client so that because you understand that you're going to have to start over with getting new clients. That's for anybody in the business world. If you're not getting repeat customers, your price needs to be a little bit higher, right? If you're not getting repeat, if you're not doing something that you can serve them over and over and over again, right? There's the McDonald's model or the Starbucks model where you're serving people over and over and over again, but there's also what's the thing that people only buy once? Life insurance or caskets? There's the casket model, the casket business model. Even caskets, families buy them over again, but I don't know. We'll call it the casket business model. It needs to be priced appropriately. Fiji Resort, back to Fiji. Hey, Dorita. It's called Fiji Marriott Momi Bay, Momi. It was fantastic. It was beautiful. It was more beautiful than I expected based on the photos. I had a I think they call them burrs. I keep saying bula, but bula is welcome. They had a burr. Were they burrs? Bure? Anyway, a cabin or a cabana. Mine was facing the ocean. They had them facing the lagoon. I had one that for to myself. They have duplexes that were split down the middle. You get half. I had a full one to myself. It was a splurge, but it was my 50th birthday. It was beautiful. The service on the resort. So the people on the resort, the staff were amazing. They knew us by name before the end of day one, right? It helped that it was my 50th birthday and they knew it, right? And they sang to me the first breakfast, right? But that wasn't why they knew our names. They just knew our names. Very good service, very good staff. Um, it was amazing, amazing, amazing. We didn't say the name. Rashida's like, practice a little discretion, please. So we didn't say the name of the resort while we were there. But I ain't there no more. It was wonderful. Because we both have Marriott, Rashida has super duper Marriott Bonvoy status. I said I have gold elite. She's super duper mega elite. So they upgraded her once they had space to upgrade her. Yeah, so I like to stay in Marriott things just because of the status thing, right? Like today, I want a late checkout and I'll probably get it because I have gold elite status. Yeah, it's one of the things that comes with that. But it was wonderful, beautiful, beautiful. Alicia, Renice, what was my favorite part of Fiji? Oh, the people. The people. They were amazing. They were wonderful. So they are aware that they came from Africa. They are aware that they are Black people, even though they're in the South Pacific. They're in the, what do we call people from that area? Pacific Islanders, right? They are aware that they came from Africa. They kept saying to us, "You two, you look like Fiji ladies." Catrice left us and went to. Catrice has status with Hilton, right? So she stayed with us for the first couple of days. Then she went over to Hilton, which she loved. The Hilton, she loved the Hilton. Um, so anyway, so with me and Rashida, and even when Catrice came back, she came back for dinner, right? So even when she came, they would be like, y'all look like Fiji ladies. They look exactly like us, right? Exactly like us. Uh, they loved us. They were really, really happy to have us there. They hugged us when I left to go to the airport. Rashida left early in the morning. My flight wasn't until 10 p.m. So I stayed around. And when I left to go to the airport, people came to hug me and say goodbye. And the other people who were leaving to go to the airport were like, okay. She gets the hugs. I didn't let them sing the goodbye song. They have a goodbye song that they will sing at your last meal there, but I didn't let them. I didn't go to breakfast. I got breakfast in my room on the last day. Because I'm like, Rashida, now Catrice ain't here, Rashida ain't here, so I'm going to sit at the table by myself and have them sing the song. The song was like 3 minutes long. So I didn't let them sing the goodbye song, but they did come all over and come from all over. And uh, was it Sarah? I don't think it was Sarah. One of the women, might have been Frances. One of the women gave me a couple postcards. She said, I forgot to give Rashida this. So she gave me two postcards. Like they gave me little things. They were amazing, amazing, amazing. And we'll be back. Like I'm going back to Fiji. I'm telling y'all about the sale, but I'm also remembering it myself. The problem is I don't remember if what I didn't do is I didn't look up to see if business class was on sale as well. Fiji Airways was a really good experience for a long haul, going overnight. Um, I may have taken a blanket from the plane because they were so soft and comfortable. The little cover thing, they have two, they had the little bed cushion. They had two blankets. I didn't take the big, thick, bulky thing that they put on the lay flat seat, but I took the little, I may have taken the little thing. Nice, comfortable blanket. They gave you a little amenity kit with socks. I have part of my amenity kit right here, I think. Isn't this cute? They gave us a little amenity kit. It wasn't as robust as the Emirates amenity kit. Emirates gave us Bulgari perfume. Emirates went all out, okay? But they gave us this amenity kit. They gave us a little toothbrush and toothpaste, um, Oop, and I knocked over my thing, my little setup. Hand sanitizer. I can't see. Y'all know I can't see. My arms aren't that long to see which one this is. One of them is hand sanitizer, and oh, this is the body lotion. Body lotion, a little sleep mask, some socks, which I wore. And this is the sanitizer. A little pen, Fiji Airways, and oh, earplugs. Yeah, so they gave us the cutest little amenity kit. Oh, they're my favorite color. Little earplugs. So they gave us this nice little amenities kit and took decent care of us. It was a nice experience. Now, Rashida then flew Fiji Airways. She may talk about this tomorrow on her channel. She then flew Fiji Airways on a shorter flight, just going to Australia, and she said it wasn't the same. Okay, it wasn't the same. The lounge was fine. The lounge was nothing to write home about. Coming back, the lounge in Fiji was nothing to write home about. Although they did have cashew chicken, which was delicious. I really enjoyed the cashew chicken in the lounge. But the lounge going there from Los Angeles, you can go into the Star Alliance Lounge, and that was really beautiful. The lounge in Los Angeles, that Star Alliance Lounge, had an outdoor patio with little fire pits. It was beautiful. It's the most beautiful lounge I've been in the US. I haven't been in a whole lot of them, but it's the most beautiful lounge I've been in the United States. Beautiful. And like I said, that little outdoor fire pit, I was like sold. I didn't even eat or drink anything. No, I got a drink. I got one drink. But I didn't eat any food there. We flew out at midnight, right? Our flight was at 11:55 p.m. Yeah, I didn't eat any food in the lounge, but it was a beautiful, beautiful lounge. But Fiji Airways, right now they're having a sale, $699 from LA or San Francisco to Fiji for I don't know what dates. I don't know. But wonderful experience. Okay, I'm just scrolling through for the letter Q. Penny James, do I cook a lot in Costa Rica or do I eat out? I eat out all the time. You don't have to. Okay. Grocery stores are in abundance in Costa Rica, right? In San Jose, anyway. And San Jose is a city. Just because it's not a pretty city doesn't mean it's not a city. It's a city. And I like the Mas por Menos grocery store. I like the Auto Mercado, which is a more expensive grocery store, right? You can cook in Costa Rica. And then you can find a place with a full kitchen. Now, a thing about Costa Rica is if you're looking to rent or even getting a really cheap Airbnb, you may not have a full kitchen, right? You may have a stove top and no oven. But it's easy to find a full kitchen. It's easy to find. You just have to know that you have to know that you need to look for it. You need to know that your place may not come with an oven, and you know that I need to look for this. It's like air conditioning, right? Once you know that in a lot of the world they don't put air conditioning in places automatically, you need to look for a place with air conditioning. Same thing with a full kitchen, especially a stove. But you can cook. You can cook. I don't enjoy cooking, right? I just don't enjoy cooking. But so that's why I don't cook. I cook breakfast only. But you could, and food is in San Jose. Food is what it costs in Delaware. It's not an especially inexpensive place. Food in San Jose, the grocery store in San Jose is about price like the grocery store in Delaware, right? Hi, Michelle. Do I do life coaching? No, I do not. I am not a life coach. No, I don't. I coach on I coach on house sitting through House Sitter School. House Sitter School actually happens on Sunday. House Sitter School is a digital product. It's a digital download that you watch to get information on how to start house sitting with trusted house sitters. It's mostly on how to set up your trusted house sitters profile. If you buy the upgraded version of House Sitter School, I think I call it the bundle, right? If you buy the bundle, then you also come to one group coaching session, which happens normally on the first Sunday of every month, but this week, because of my birthday, it's the second Sunday of the month. So if you have the house sitter bundle, then you come to one group coaching session. Okay, that is vicarious.com/get-booked. Okay, so I do house sitting coaching once a month in one group call. I do YouTube coaching either individually, one-on-one with me, or through my challenge, or through the Get Found on YouTube Masterclass, which is on demand. You just watch it when you want to. Any other coaching that I do? And then my book, Job Detox, will be out before the summer's over. But no, I don't do, and so that's all of the coaching that I do. And then Rashida and I together do the Get Your Next 3 Clients challenge. I'm thinking, like, is that it? YouTube coaching. And then, okay, and so I do YouTube coaching in a variety of different ways. I only named 2 things, but I do a variety of YouTube coaching. So I do the YouTube challenge. I do the YouTube Success Society, which also meets on Sunday. Once a month, we get together and we talk about YouTube and business things. But no, I don't do any life coaching. My website is vicarious.com. So everything is there. I don't do that. So life coaches. I think that finding a life coach is about knowing what pressing needs or what approach you want to take to addressing your future, right? And then finding someone who talks that talk online and getting coaching from them. I think that's the approach to finding someone. If you're looking for life, if you're like, listen, I don't know what I want. I don't know how to figure it out. Find someone who is talking that talk online. They're a coach for you, right? Someone who when you hear them talk, you're like, this is helpful. This is great. I love her perspective on things. I love where she's at in her life, right? You don't want life coaching from somebody whose life is in shambles, right? I love the approach that she's taken for things, taken to address things. I love the way that she talks about the change that she's made, the transformation in her own life, right? So seriously, I would start with YouTube. Start with YouTube. Ask YouTube some questions and see whose videos come up and see where that leads you. Ask specific questions though, right? If you're seriously like, how do I get out of a rut? Or how do I find myself now that I'm an empty nester or whatever? Ask those questions. Or who am I? Find someone who is talking that talk. Ivana is a life coach. Thank you, Adelia. Ivana Robinson is a life coach. Ivana Run the World on Instagram. I'm going to look her up on my phone to make sure I spell it right, because I don't remember if it's The World or The World. Ivana. DA. Ivana Run the World. Ivana Run the World. Thank you. I went to Ivana's and Adelia's retreat in El Salvador oh gosh, it was over a year ago. Gosh. Yeah. All right. So I went to the retreat in El Salvador. Um, Ivana Robinson's Instagram is Ivana Run the World. I think it's important to find if you're looking for a life coach, like if you're looking for somebody to help you figure out the direction of things, find somebody who you like hearing them talk their talk, right? And that something really resonates in you. I don't know if that was helpful, but I'm not the person for you. I'm not a life coach because I just be like, do this. Right? I'm too bossy. I'm too bossy to be a life coach, and that's sincere. I really mean that. I'm too bossy to do coaching and things to do that kind of coaching. I can coach you on YouTube because if I just be like, do this, and you don't like it, you just try your own thing. But I'm not the coach for a life coach. I'm not a person for that. I don't have that. The way my bossiness set up, I'm not made for that. Um, and I'm not a patient person. I'm like, well, we already talked about this. Remember, you said, why are we still here? Right. So that's not for me. Oh, thank you. My phone volume is on. I have the Shopify app, and when I sell something, my phone, the cash register noise happens. Yeah, I'm not a life coach, and I'm not. Um, you should not watch my videos as if I'm a life coach, right? You should watch my videos as if I'm someone who's on a journey, maybe a couple of steps ahead of you on a journey, but not as though I'm a life coach because I talk about things as if I am certain. Here's your answer, but you got to figure out your own answer. A real coach would approach things in a different way, right? I'm scrolling. Got to get back to where I was because I want to answer the first questions at least. Okay, I found how's the food in Costa Rica. Okay, I'm scrolling down now. Um, this is Catrice Bula. Catrice is I think you're in LA. Like I stayed in San Francisco for a couple of days. Catrice is staying in LA for a little while. Rhythm and Wander. In which country, city did you see the best example of community values? Um, in Latin America, in the smallest, at least in the small towns in Mexico, I didn't spend, so in Mexico City and Guadalajara, which is a city, but it's not the cityest city, right? I didn't spend enough time and I didn't have enough interaction with local people to know what things are like there. But in those small towns in Mexico, they're in community with each other. From small things like buses have spaces for seniors and for nuns, right? The local buses, they have seats for nuns and pregnant women and seniors, right? From small things like that to just seeing people um, relying on a variety of people for their needs. Right here, not here. Well, yeah, I'm in the United States right now. In the United States, you're expected to to fulfill all of your own needs, right? Whereas in Mexico, they're like, no, this is the person who does this. This is the person who does that, right? My water gets delivered. That only functions. That only is because there is a community system in operation. So I'm going to say Latin America, including Costa Rica. That's why I know I can have a good life in Costa Rica. And if I have a family in Costa Rica, I can have support. Um, I'm thinking because I spent that full year in Southeast Asia. So I think the answer is really everywhere but the United States. That sounds really flippant. But it's really everywhere except the United States, I think. Even in Europe, even in some parts of Europe where they have a reputation for being colder, they're still more in community than we are in the US. Um, in Australia, even though they're not good people, I submit Australians are not good people. They are still there's still a reliance on each other in a way that we're just told is wrong in the US. So the answer is really everywhere. Everywhere. Their community has community, right? People have community more anywhere else. But Latin America really jumps out as the real example. But in Asia as well, Southeast Asia as well. My stomach is growling. I hope y'all can't hear that. I'm trying to think of specific examples, but it's a little too early in the day for me to come up with real examples. But I'm going to stick with Latin America. Was that good enough? But it's how I knew that I could move to Costa Rica and have a good life, have community, have friends, have people who work right, who do things like me, a person who cooks for me. I can do that. Um, I could have, if I needed something, I could have a landlord or a person who would know who could help me, right? Who would know somebody who could help me, even if it's just her nephew, right? Um, everywhere but the United States. Tangela McKay, how much money do you need to save when you first start out on the journey of this life? I think that depends on how much money you're making, right? How much money you need to have saved in a pot of money depends on how much money you're going to be bringing in every month. So if you're talking about traveling full time or moving abroad and you have a job or income, right? You're a retired military veteran, you got that veterans pay coming every month. You may not need a whole lot saved. A couple, 3, 4 months of money, right? Saved, and you're good to go. Whereas if you're going to be traveling for a year and you're not going to be making any money, you need all of that money saved, plus a little bit of cushion for when you get back, right? So, how many months of money do you need to save when you start out? Depends on what your journey looks like, and how comfortable you are with getting down to zero. Some people are really afraid to get down to zero. You save the money for this thing. Like, I saved the money to travel for a year. I got down to 30 some dollars in that account. By the time I bought my little ticket back home, I was down to 30 something dollars, right? Some people would never have been able to survive that. They would have never, it never would have happened, right? Um, how comfortable are you with seeing that pot of cash dwindling? Um, so that there's no answer to that that I can give to everyone. There is just some guidelines. So if you got money that you're going to be making because you have alimony, because you have veterans benefits, because you have something, a job, right? And you're okay with, you know, letting your pot of cash shrink as you spend the money, then maybe 3 months extra expenses might be fine, right? But if you're if you're not going to be replenishing the money from a job or from some source of income or investment income or something, then that pot of cash needs to be bigger. Rhythm and Wander, which country, city had the most dateable men? First, I want to say men are men everywhere. There's no magical men somewhere. Men are men everywhere. They just engage with you a little differently. So, like, Australia's at the bottom of the list. They're awful. They're terrible people, and the men are very terrible. Okay, so I'm also 5'9", and so to me, a dateable man is a man who I can't see over his head. Okay. And I'm also 50. I'm 50 now. I don't know if you heard. I'm 50 now. So to me, a country with dateable men is probably a country that has a pretty high divorce rate, right? Because most people get married pretty young around the world. And so if you want there to be dateable men, you need divorces to happen. So on my list, I've said this many a time, my list is Portugal. My list is Costa Rica. Even though I have not seen the single men, Costa Rica has has a high divorce rate, but I've not seen a whole lot of single men in Costa Rica, especially not tall single men. They seem to be snatched up really quickly, but it's still on the list. They, statistically speaking, Portugal, Costa Rica. I can't think of what else was on my list. Okay, Adelia likes the idea of the Scandinavian countries because they have feminist men. They have a girlfriend visa. Some of those countries have girlfriend visas. And there was another reason. Dateable is relative. All of this, right? Just like the money, dateable men is relative. If you're not 50 and you're not 5'9", you probably don't care about my criteria, right? Or if you like to do everything do everything, then Australian men may not be a no for you, right? I found Australian men to be, they want a pen pal and they want a woman to do all of the planning. I was there for maybe 60 days. I don't know where to go eat, right? So you expecting me to plan a date is stupid. You live here. You've always lived in this city. Why are you asking me where I want to go? Where, not where I want to go. You're asking me where are we going? Get out of my face. Listen, that's going to be our whole life together. You're showing me already you ain't contributing nothing to my mental load. My mental load is still going to be my mental load with or without you. What I need you for, right? You may not have that same approach. So, okay, I'm going to tell you just like I think I know. Okay, so my list is Australia. I think Curacao was on the list. Curacao made the list for tall men and divorced men. Curacao also has like their ethnicities range. There's a bigger range of ethnicities in Curacao, right? So they have black people, they have Indonesian people because it was a Dutch island or whatever. They have white people, right? And I only date men, like an idiot, right? I date men like a dum dum. What my list may not be your list, okay? My list may not be your list. But seriously, I Googled countries with men over 5'9", right? We're the tallest men, right? Scandinavia, the Netherlands. And the Netherlands is also on my list, right? Scandinavia and the Netherlands and a few countries. And then I was like, okay, now out of these countries, who has a highest divorce rate, right? Now, actually being on the ground, I still keep Portugal on my list. Being in Portugal means that men will holler at you, and they're handsome. They have a variety of ethnicities as well. Costa Rica, they don't holler, right? You're not just walking down the street and having men be like, "Buenos dias," right? Whereas in Portugal, they will just holler at you. I've not opened a dating app in Costa Rica either, so I don't know what that's like. Being a black woman in Mexico meant that men would holler, but I'm tall. Mexicans are very short. The average Mexican man is like, you can see over his head. So that was never a consideration for me. Kemi, how do you decide your annual travel plans? Part of it is just, where do I want to go? Right? Is there something, right? Like, what's next? Where do I want to go? And part of it is, where is somebody else going that I can jump in on? Right? And part of it is like, um, just a free feeling. I don't have a real methodology. I'm okay with, I feel like I want to do XYZ and then I go do XYZ. I feel like I want to go here and then I go there. I usually know for the next 4 or 5 months where my travels will take me. So, for example, it's July. I already know where I'm going to be for the month of November and December. So that's almost 6 months. Um, Exodus Summit dictates a lot of my year. Not a lot. Exodus Summit dictates where I am August, September, October. Usually, it's supposed to be July, August, September, October, but I squeezed in all this travel. Rashida and I are traveling a lot in July, which for the previous 4 years of Exodus Summit, we have not done. We've been still in July so that we could get started planning. We're starting a little, not later with the planning, but we did some earlier planning so because we knew July was going to be a busy travel month. So I know July, August, September, and early October, I need to be in one place, sitting down somewhere. And so that means that I have the rest of the year to figure things out. This year was different because of my 50th birthday. But that means I have the rest of the year to travel. So I like to basically, I start my year in October, right? I'm free in October and I have money in October. And so I start my year in October. September has been the month that I just feel renewed in general. I started a lot of different jobs in September. I was almost always starting back to school in September. I went to a lot of colleges. Okay. I've done a lot of college hopping. So September is a time when I naturally start to feel like a renewal. So I would say my travel planning usually starts with October. After the summit's done, where am I going? What's my big vacation after the summit's over? I'm a house sitter, so I like to house sit in the summertime in the US. So that's usually pretty easy to figure out. I didn't do that this summer, but I usually do a little, I did, No, I didn't. I usually do a little summer house sitting road trip in the US, and that's pretty easy to figure out. And so that leaves me November to May to do the bigger stuff in other places. And really, it's just like, where do I want to go? In February, I wanted to go to Cape Town. So Exodus Summit went to Cape Town. Um, and then from the big stuff, I figure out the smaller stuff, right? So I know I'm taking a trip to Cape Town, nowhere else. While I'm flying that far away, what else do I want to see? So since I know I'm going to Cape Town in February, where else do I want to go? I wanted to go to Dubai. I don't recommend it, but I've done it. I can take it off the list. And I wanted to go to Mauritius. Also, don't recommend it now that I think about it, right? Also, I don't recommend Mauritius. But while I'm taking a big flight and going somewhere expensive, where else can I go? I didn't do that with Fiji, but normally that's the thing that I do, right? Rashida's in Australia and New Zealand because she was already flying to Fiji. Might as well stay over there for a while. Fiji is relatively close to New Zealand, right? So was that helpful? Deciding on my annual travel plans usually starts with Exodus Summit ending in October. And then where's my big vacation after that? Right? Now I have time, I want to relax, and I have some money. Where do I want to go? Um, and then if I'm taking a trip somewhere, how can I take some side trips that fit in that big trip? And then house sitting in the summertime is pretty, it's just a matter of applying for house sit somewhere, getting a good one, and then filling in the blanks, filling in the gaps for more house sits. And then where else do I want to go? So, like 2025, I don't have anything planned out this time. So, 2024, having this birthday really helped me put some things on my list. But and I did a lot of traveling already this year. I think I said 5 new countries already this year, even though I repeated South Africa, repeated London, repeated France, repeated Portugal. I think I've been to 5 new countries this year. And it's July, right? I've done a lot of travel this year. Um, I don't have anything planned for next year yet. There are a lot of things I would like to do, but nothing in the works. I would really love to spend some time in Canada. I would really love to get to Ireland and Scotland. Basically, trace this trip that Rashida took. I would love to do that. Um, those are other places that I think dating would be fun. Ireland in particular. I think dating would be fun in Ireland. Um, it would be nice to get back to Southeast Asia somewhere, somehow, sometime. But that's how I decide my travel plans. I don't know. Was that helpful, Kemi? I'm scrolling through, just looking for the letter Q, looking for the questions. Let's see. I think I'm doing a good job of being in the chat, of moving through the chat, I think. If I'm skipping your questions, you can just ask it again with the letter Q. Any tips? Hi, Makeda. Any tips on finding airfare deals or other travel discounts? I already house sit, thanks to you. You're welcome. Yeah, I like, uh, who is it? It's not Cheap Flight Deals. What is it called? The Flight Deal. The Flight Deal is a website and a newsletter and an email that you can get that'll give you flight deals all the time. Going, which used to be called Scott's Cheap Flights, which is now called Going, is also a flight deal and discount flight newsletter that gets sent out to you regularly. Um, and then I like to, like for Fiji, for things like when I know I want to go to one particular place, I get on that major airlines email list, right? So for Fiji, I get Fiji Airways email list. That's how Rashida and I know about this discount, the sale that's happening, the $699 round trip flights to Fiji from LA. I did the same thing with Emirates. I knew I wanted to fly Emirates to South Africa, so I got on their newsletter to find out when deals were happening. I don't think I got a good deal to South Africa, but I could have, right? If I had had more time and more, I could there I'm sure there was a better deal out there. I didn't buy my flight to South Africa until January. We flew in February, right? So there could have been a better that could have been done better. But I think those are my answers. The flight deal, going, which is used to be Scotch Cheap Flights, the individual airline carriers newsletters, Momondo. I always do flight searching on Momondo. Secret Flying. Secret Flying is another newsletter, website, email that comes out regularly that's about flight deals. Secret Flying is another option. Yeah, that's how I do. Am I leaving anything out? I don't think so. I think that's the flight airfare situation. Other travel discounts. I don't think I have any answer for any other travel discounts and any other thing, any other tools that I use. I think that's it. I think that's the my bucket. Rhythm and Wander question: thoughts on intercontinental air travel in Africa? It's hard. Well, it's not hard, but flying inside of Africa, usually, if you're going from Southern Africa into East or West Africa, you normally you're gonna have to leave the continent and come back, right? Fly out to the Middle East or fly to Europe and come back down. They don't. It's not like, oh, I'm flying from Johannesburg to Kenya, right? But flying from Johannesburg to Nairobi doesn't is not necessarily a flight from Johannesburg to Nairobi. It might be a flight to Dubai, right? Might be a flight to Frankfurt. It's not the easiest. It's probably it's probably the hardest of the regions. If we're talking about traveling throughout Asia, which is pretty easy, traveling throughout Europe and flying throughout Europe, pretty easy. Latin America, hmm, okay, it's okay. Africa, hard, right? Hard as in just not convenient. So I only fly on airlines that have a 6 or 7 safety rating on airlinesafetyratings.com or airlineratings.com. Airlineratings.com. If you don't have a 6 or 7 safety rating, I'm not flying on your airline. That cuts out some African carriers. Some African and Asian carriers are just like buses in the sky, or worse. And I don't fly on them. I don't fly on them. So I go to airlineratings.com. I check out their airline's rating for safety and for their products, for the safety of the airline and the actual planes themselves. How good are these planes? Which is why when I flew to Mauritius, I flew even though I was in Johannesburg and I could have taken a flight from. No, that's not why. I wanted to fly with my mom. I flew Air Mauritius, one of the best airlines in Africa, right? I've flown, I think that's the only African airline I've ever flown on, right? I want a 6 or 7 safety rating. Um, so I don't have a lot of tips because I don't because I because of that. That is my tip. That is my thoughts on that. Uh, we flew a small carrier when we went to Kruger National Park. What was that carrier called? We flew also an airline with a 6 or 7 safety rating. I think also ranked one of the best airlines, but it was a really small carrier. No complaints, no problems. But it was a really small plane, a really small company. So if you're flying from the US into Africa, but you have a layover in another country in Africa, okay? Let's say you're flying from New York to Johannesburg, but you're laying over in Ethiopia, or I think most people go that Ethiopian flight, right? If you need to check on their yellow fever vaccine requirements. If you're flying from the US into Africa, but you're going through Europe or through the Middle East, the yellow fever vaccine requirements are different than if you're flying through Africa. If you're connecting in another country in Africa, the yellow fever requirements are different. So that's a thing to know that some people don't run into problems with. I think that's all I have to say. I don't think there's anything else because I haven't done a lot of intercontinental air travel in Africa. Going from South Africa to Mauritius is all I've done because it's not easy. When I was in South Africa in 2017, I really wanted to go to Kenya and Tanzania and Uganda and Rwanda, but it meant that I had to go back to Europe. And I was like, well, if I got to go back to Europe, I'm going home. I think I did that. I think I went to Europe after and then went home. Right? It's not easy to on a budget anyway, right? It was not easy to go from South Africa to East Africa. It's like that. It's like that. I was spoiled by Asia, where you can get anywhere from anywhere, and Europe. Uh, that's how it is. Has your this feels like abundance list grown? Oh, so hi, Kylie. I um I have things that I do to make sure that I feel like abundance. I want abundance in my life, and I want to make sure that feel like it. I think that the key to this whole manifestation thing, the key to getting the things that you want is to understand why you want that thing is probably because you want to feel a certain way, right? The things that you want in your life are probably uh, just a means to feeling a certain way in your life. Okay. And I think that I want to say that again. The things that you want in your life, I think, are often just a means to feeling a certain way in your life. And I think we can tap into those feelings to get those things. We can tap in those feelings early to get those things. That's what the manifestation teachers teach me on the internet. And so I want abundance in my life. I want a yacht, right? I want abundance in my life. I want to feel like abundance then. So I need to tap into feeling like abundance now. And there are things that I do to feel like abundance. Giving, I think, is something that I've left off this list. So I give money to feel like abundance, right? I get money circulating and flowing in my life so that I can feel like abundance. You all help me do that. We are still giving money to Alicia Renice so that she can take a sabbatical. We gave money to Maisha Francis in 2023 so that she could take a sabbatical. Okay. So what Callie's talking about is I have a list of things that I do to put myself in the feeling of abundance today. So I can feel like abundance today to attract more abundance tomorrow or also today. And one of those things is fresh white socks out of the pack. They just make me feel good. Rashida the other day was like, go buy some white socks. I just didn't need any. I think I still have a pair or two that I haven't worn yet that are in my suitcase with me right now. I didn't need any new white socks. We were in Target and Rashida was like, buy some white socks. I love fresh white socks out of the pack. Vanilla extract. Vanilla extract is flowing liberally in my life. I let it flow free. There was a time when I had to ration out my vanilla. It costs money, and I would ration it out, and But now I put in every cup of coffee I make. Um, every time I make oatmeal, cream of wheat, pancakes, French toast, any baked good, right? I'm liberally using vanilla extract. Flying first class or business class, I feel like abundance. Any new additions? I don't think so. Oh, cashmere, which is new. I bought myself a nice cashmere robe. I wouldn't call it beautiful, but it feels good. I bought myself a cashmere robe, and I traveled with that robe for over a year, I think. It's back home in Delaware now, but I'm gonna pick it up when I go back this time, heading to Costa Rica. I travel with a cashmere robe. And I bought a cashmere sweater. I do have my sweater in the suitcase with me. When I went to the meetup in Delaware, the ladies were like, "Oh, cashmere." Right. I don't think I paid $110 for that sweater. I think I paid 109 or something for that sweater. Maybe $99. $99 to feel like abundance Feels so good on your body. Um, White socks, a pack of white socks today, probably $12 for what are they? Six in a pack or 8 pairs in a pack, right? Vanilla extract can be expensive, but it can also be, I don't know what it costs now, $10 or $12 for the little one in the U.S. Out in Costa Rica, it's less than that, right? Whereas flying first class to Fiji was a big old a big old chunk of money. There's a variety of price points, a variety of ways that I feel like abundance. I think buying two of things. Once I know I like something, I buy two of them. So like my eyebrow pencil that I have on today, I like it. I like the texture of it. I don't have it with me. I like the texture of it. I wish it was a little bit darker, right? I would have to go over my eyebrows a bunch of times to darken it a little bit. But I like the feel of it, the texture, and the color is fine, right? So I ordered two. When it was time to re-up, instead of buying one, I ordered two. Same with my lip pencil, right? I got the lip pencil. And so now I have this in my makeup bag in my purse, right? So this is my little lipstick bag. I have this little bag of lipsticks and lip glosses. I keep this in my purse. So now I have one in my purse and one in my makeup bag in the bathroom. That feels like abundance to me. Having two lip pencils, and I have an eyebrow pen. This is not the one I like, but this is one that I don't hate, right? So I've got an eyebrow pencil in my purse and I've got an eyebrow pencil in my makeup bag. Having two of the things that I like um, is just an abundance. It feels like abundance to me. It's a thing that my mom has done for quite a while. I used to joke, make fun of her for having two and three and five of things, right? But it really does feel like abundance. I no longer am like, oh, this is running low, right? That little feeling, and you're like, oh, this is running low. I got to remember to get it. I've cut that feeling at least in half. Some things I get more than two of. This little lip balm. This is called Jack Black Lip Balm Intense Therapy, right? I used to use the black one from the black travel box, but they ran out. Last time I went to go reorder, I think I told y'all about them. And then when I went to reorder, they were sold out. Okay. So I then went to this, and instead of just buying one, I bought four. So I've got one in this bag, I've got one in my toiletry kit, I've got one in my backpack, and I've got one that's just floating free in my purse, right? Um, when I need a lip balm, I have a lip balm because I talk and I get so dry. When I talk, this is why I'm constantly drinking water. When I talk and I get so dry, I just be reapplying, right? Having it where I need it is a way that I feel like abundance. Having the thing where I need the thing when I need it feels like abundance. Seriously, having those two lip pencils and two eyebrow pencils really feels good. It really feels good to not have to get up, go to the bathroom, to my makeup bag to put on the lip pencil, or reverse, not have to come to my purse, right? Having two of them, it really feels like abundance, right? It puts me in the feeling of I have what I need, and I have what I need at my fingertips. I'm thinking of are there more things? Uh, I think those are the new additions to my abundance list. Having multiples of things, and um, giving. Giving are new things that I would add to my abundance list. And the cashmere. I've added three things. Okay, so we had the first three. I've doubled my list. Hey, Latina, I emailed you. I'm ready to get the tickets, and I just want not. I think I sent you a text or a DM or something. I'm ready to get the tickets for the Wiz on Saturday, and I'm gonna buy the tickets for 2 p.m. Is that what we want? 2 p.m. for the Wiz on Saturday, and then that way, because I don't know if you're coming up from. I think you live in the D.C. area, but I might be wrong about that. Um, and that way, you don't have to be out in the streets at night. 8 p.m. means going to the 8 p.m. show means that I will be yawning in the Wiz, and I don't want to. So, are you okay with Saturday at 2 p.m.? I think I texted you or WhatsApped you from the phone number that was at the bottom of your email. Oh, this is Jason Momoa's water? I didn't know that. Kopu, purity is the ultimate luxury. She said 43 Grant CT says instead of throwing the container away, you reuse it because it's aluminum. Okay, thank you. I didn't know it was celebrity water. The resort was Fiji Marriott Momi Bay. 10 out of 10 would recommend. What type of brand of light or filter do you use when recording? I'm not using it now. It's in my suitcase. I use a Lume, Lume light. It's a round light on an arm, right? Like a lamp, a round LED thing on an arm. I'm not using it right now because I didn't feel like opening up my big suitcase. My big suitcase is in the corner, and I packed so that I only needed to open the little suitcase while I was here in San Francisco. I like it. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Like I said, I've traveled around the world with that thing. I've dropped it more than once just out on the floor and had to screw the thing back in. I like it. And you can set it from warmer light to colder light to more intense to dull to dimmer light. I like it. It's an Lume, Loom. If you get the YouTube for Coaches Toolkit, I believe I list my supplies in that toolkit, vicarious.com/coaches. Got no complaints. I started with the Loom Cube. The little tiny cube wasn't much bigger than a phone. I didn't like it. It just didn't work. There was always like even when it was charged, I would charge it like for half a day and then go turn it on and it would be like, oh, I'm out of juice in 60 seconds, right? Something was wrong. There was something wrong with it. But I didn't give up on the company. So I tried the other variety. I tried the big light and I really liked the big light. The Loom Cube, I guess, worked for me for a while. But once, I don't know. The big light has worked for me longer than the little light worked for me, is what I'll say. So I like Loom. I got it on Amazon, I think. I know it's on Amazon. I think I bought mine from Amazon and no complaints. I like it. That's why, I like it. I sometimes in videos, especially I have a second channel called Stephanie Perry Media. And sometimes on there, I'll show what it looks like when I turn the light off and when I turn it back on. And I look so much cuter with the light on. Taya, let's see. You even put you even put a little explanation of how to say your name. I think that you're saying Ty. What is access to feminine care products like abroad? Uh, Pads everywhere, including always pads are everywhere. You may not, and Kotex are I've seen Kotex in a lot of the world. You may not want to use always everywhere because in different places, women are really mad at the always company for using substandard materials. Okay, but they're everywhere. Tampons are not everywhere. Um, in Southeast Asia, I don't know if I ever saw a tampon. If they have tampons in Southeast Asia, they must be behind the pharmacist counter because I never saw a tampon in Southeast Asia. Tampons are not everywhere. So I'm a menstrual cup girl most of the time. Most of the time when I'm traveling somewhere, I use the menstrual cup. I'd like to start to switch into menstrual underwear, but I think I may be on the downslope of being a person who menstruates. I think menopause is around the corner for me because things are very different now. Right? I went through a really, really fast and furious cycle for a while, which I read was a signal that I was running out of eggs, right? And so I think I may be on the downslope. I may not need period panties. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted. I'm 50 now, in case you didn't hear. I'll keep you posted. But pads everywhere. Um, in some places, organic pads everywhere. Costa Rica, you could even find organic pads everywhere. Tampons are not everywhere. And I've seen menstrual cups abroad on shelves, but I can't right now tell you if I've seen them all over the place. Okay. I think that's all. That's it. That's I've run out of I've run out of answer. I think that's it. That's it for that. Misdemeanor OG. Misdemeanor OG. Do I use Google Translate when abroad or another app? Yeah, Google Translate, some, not too much. Mostly I just stumble through things. I use it more in France than I have anywhere else. First of all, in Costa Rica, everybody speaks English. A lot of people speak English in Costa Rica. Um, in Mexico, my Spanish was sufficient to get me through. Um, in Southeast Asia, I don't try, right? I didn't try any languages in Southeast Asia. They're so different and hard. And I barely used Google Translate in Southeast Asia, right? We're going to figure it out. I'm going to point at some stuff. We're going to figure it out. But yes, to Google Translate. And there's no other app that I've used personally, but I'm sure some women in the chat will give you some other apps that you might be interested in. We did a meetup in San Francisco yesterday. I put it inside the Exodus Summit community and 5 women. We had 5 women at the meetup yesterday. Hey, gang. They're not watching because it's bedtime, okay? They're not watching. They might catch the replay. uh, Coming on at 7 p.m. Pacific time means that the West Coast gang watches the replay most of the time. Yeah, we did a fun meetup here at the hotel. Listen, I was like, either you come to my hotel or we don't do it. Okay. They were like, sure. I'm staying at the J right in South San Francisco, right in like downtown, and they were perfectly happy to come over. Um, and hang out. We had a nice little outside day yesterday. I got here about 12:15. Yeah, 12:15. Yeah, so we were there from 12:15 to about 3:30, and the outside patio was nice because it's sunny. It was sunny yesterday. Uh, I don't know if it got up to 70 degrees yesterday. San Francisco is such a strange place. The weather is so strange. Such a strange place. I don't even know if it got up to 70 degrees yesterday. I don't think it did because today the high is 67. But in the sun, it felt really good. Now, as soon as the sun went down, they were like, we're out of here. They got up and left. Not down. It didn't even go down. It was just, we're in between downtown, in between buildings. As soon as the sun became shade, they were like, peace. See y'all later. uh, but yes, we had a fun meetup yesterday. It was inside of the Exodus Summit Facebook group. Facebook is funny. I know. Listen, you don't have to tell me that you didn't see it, friends. If you didn't see it, blame Facebook. Don't blame me. Okay? Oh, you missed it. Okay, you already heard that answer. Yeah. Yeah. But there'll be another. I'm in Yosemite for the week. I'm in Mid Pines. I'm going to stay in Mid Pines for the rest of the time. I'm just looking for questions. Oh, Rhythm and Wander, thank you very much for that super chat. Solitude with Michelle, thank you for that super chat. Snacks for my travel. Okay, thank you. I'll buy some snacks with that. Thank you kindly for the super chat. Where's a good place to start for a virtual assistant? Hi, Ms. T. I'm going to give you 3 resources. First, I'm going to point you to Exodus Summit 2020. Okay, a couple of No, that's not it. It wasn't 2020. That was a long time ago. Exodus Summit Move Abroad Money. First, I'm going to point you to Exodus Summit Move Abroad Money. ExodusSummit.com/money is the first place I'll point you to. We had a couple of speakers come in and talk about being a freelancer, being a person who needs to get clients on your own inside of your business, and a session on taking what you know and making it into a business. So first, I'd point you there. Exodus Summit Move Abroad Money is a summit, a virtual summit with replays that will help you learn how to make money from things you already know how to do. So the session in particular, so I would say the particular sessions that would help you are the session on freelancing with Sojourner. Was it Sojourner who taught freelancing? And no, Sojourner taught social work. Danielle. Danielle taught freelancing. I think that session in particular would be helpful because she taught pitching and freelancing, the business of doing the thing on your own, but also pitching yourself to other people. Okay, that's resource number one. The second place that I would point you to is the Virtual Assistant Savvies. VA is a Facebook community, VA Savvies. And then the third place is Digital Nomad Kit. Both Digital Nomad Kit and VA Savvies are training places for virtual assistants. It's where virtual assistants go to learn how to be a virtual assistant. Marissa Price, who is a virtual assistant out in the world, including Rashida's virtual assistant and Kimani's virtual assistant, she learned from Digital Nomad Kit. Okay? 3 resources: Digital Nomad Kit, VA Savvies, and Exodus Summit Move Abroad Money. Those are places that I would go to learn. I learned from VA Savvies years ago. Digital Nomad Kit I didn't know about then, or maybe it didn't exist then, but it's been really helpful to women inside of this community, women who I already know are have been helped from that. And then the Exodus Summit session, particularly from, I believe her name was Danielle. Listen, Exodus Summit Move Abroad Money has a session on freelancing. And I think that that would be super helpful because you need to learn how to pitch yourself out in the world. You need to learn how to get clients. So I think that those are the helpful resources. Belinda, is there still a place you want to visit that you haven't? Yeah, a lot. Scotland, Ireland, Zanzibar, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda. I would love to do that little loop for a while. Um, Poland. I think I could spend a year in Poland, right? I don't know how long you get on the thing, but I think I could spend a year in Poland. I think Poland looks delightful. Um, Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia. I've visited Sri Lanka's, I think, on the border of Southeast Asia. It's like more like just Asia. Sri Lanka, I have not been to. New Zealand, I've been to Australia, but not New Zealand. A lot of places. There's a lot of places I have that are still I would still love to visit. I think I'm done with the places where if I drop dead tomorrow, I'd be like, oh, I wish I had gone to, right? I think I've finished that list. Sri Lanka might be the last place on that list, right? From here on, it's just Gucci. It's all gravy, right? Um, I think so. I visited the places that Fiji was the last. I'm confusing myself. Either Fiji was the last of the list of like, listen, I will be so upset if I don't get there, or maybe Sri Lanka. So maybe there's one more. Maybe Sri Lanka is the end of that list. And then I don't know, because I still do really want to visit Poland. I've never been to Italy. I think I would like Poland better than Italy. I think I would visit Italy for a few days. I would visit Poland for a year. Right? It just looks delightful. It looks like it's my speed. Um, and then yeah, so I don't know. I'm going back to Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda. I really want to visit those places. I really want to do that little loop around. I don't know how to answer this. Okay. Yes, the answer is yes. There are a lot of places that I haven't visited that I still want to visit. What about Caribbean and African men? I have not had good experiences with West African men, and I think they're the tall ones. Okay. West African men are the tall men. South African men are very small. Other African men are very small people. Okay. West African men are the talls. They're also the bads. They're the big bads. So I have no interest in West African men. I've been yelled at in airports and in parks by strangers who are West African men trying to holler at me. Their approach to holler at me was to literally holler. I don't like it. I don't like it here. Their approach to holler at me was literally to holler at me. Not my speed. And then Caribbean man, girl. Are, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Let's say Caribbean men have a reputation of being uh, whores. I'm not anti-whore. I just don't need that in my life. Okay? I want peace. I want peace and harmony. If I'm going to take time out of my life to have a relationship with a man, I would like peace and harmony and not whoredom, and not hollering. Okay? uh, Ms. Demeanor, do I have distinct plans on a micro level before I get to my destination, or do I play it by ear? No, I do not have distinct plans on a micro level. I rarely know anything when I get there, especially now after being so many years in on traveling full time. I have no plans. I have no plans. I'm a play it by ear person. Vibes. I'm a vibes person. No, I don't have any plans when I get somewhere. And that means if I leave there and I haven't done anything, then I leave there and I haven't done anything. Um, mm-mm. Desertees. If house sitting doesn't pay, how do I make money for expenses? You're here. YouTube. You're here. My YouTube channel has supported me since 2020. Because I'm a house sitter, I know that I can get free accommodation anywhere in the world, and I don't have to be like focused on working to make money, right? So my YouTube channel, my coaching business, Exodus Summit, my virtual summit business are how I make money. Um, I haven't had a traditional job since, well, 2015 was when I last had a traditional job, except for 3 months in 2016 going into 2017. So the 27 early 2017 when I left for South Africa is the last time I was a double W-2 employee. YouTube, my virtual assistant business were my first supporters, my first money making way, first my virtual assistant business because house sitting wasn't a money maker. My virtual assistant business was my first way to make money, and that became YouTube and coaching. Soon it will be books, right? I think books will be the my main money earner for the rest of my life. I hope. I hope. Um, and investments, which I don't know. I don't want to take time to learn, but I should, right? I think invest books and investments will take over when I don't no longer feel like clocking in the coaching world. It'll be books, authorship, and publishing and investments. But for now, YouTube was the first thing that took over from so that I could be a house sitter and be wherever. I'm scrolling, I'm scrolling. I'm at a point where I think a lot of these are repeat questions because I didn't answer them in time. What is the best European country I've visited? Portugal. I love Portugal. I love it. I can't imagine anyone not loving it. Have you ever used an airline and got off of refueling without going the whole way and saved money? Skip lagging. I've never done it. Because now I check a bag, it wouldn't work for me. In my carry-on days, I would have considered it. I am not a person who's going to do a lot of research on things. So skip lagging to me seems like something where you need to know the details or read the fine print, and I'm not doing that, right? Skip lagging is like you buy a flight, you pay for a flight from, let's say you pay for a flight from New York to Louisiana, but you're only flying from New York to Atlanta. It's a New York to Louisiana flight with a layover in Atlanta, right? Uh, but you only want to go from New York to Atlanta. But the flight from New York to Louisiana is cheaper. A lot of times you see that because it's not a direct flight, it's a less expensive flight. So you get on the flight in New York, you get off in Atlanta, and you don't get on the connecting flight in Louisiana. That's skip lagging. Um, I've never done it, and I'm not gonna. I don't want to do. I don't want to have to figure things out. My brain is occupied, right? So I don't stuff like that. I'm not the one. I'm not the one who's going to do that kind of thing because you got to read the fine print. You got to know what you're signing up for. You got to know what's going to happen to your points, what's going to happen to your whatevers. I'm going to mess up and forget that and book a round trip flight by mistake, and then they're going to if I don't get on that second flight, they're going to cancel the return flight. Right? I'm going to mess things up. I'm not going to get it right. So it's easiest for me to just do it the normal way. Some things I just do a normal way. Yeah, I've not been to Italy yet. Although I would like to go to Florence. I think Florence looks like my speed. Florence looks like my and a part of Italy that I would enjoy. Did you know you changed my life? I'm so glad. You did it. You did it. But I'll gladly take the credit. Okay, I'll gladly take the credit. I'm so glad to hear it. So glad. Hi, Yvette. What was the catalyst to get your YouTube channel from a trickle to a stream of income? Some of it was timing, being in the right place at the right time, which is why you should start your thing today, whatever your thing is. Being in the right place at the right time is always going to be the main thing that you can't control, but that really will help you, right? But you don't know when the right time is, so you might as well start now. I happen to have already had maybe 30, 40, 50 videos on YouTube when y'all were locked up in the pandemic, right? When we were sitting at home during the pandemic watching YouTube videos all day, every day, I already had an abundance of videos on YouTube, right? So that was a thing that really brought the money, right? But the money started before then. The money, actually, I take that back. I had a video go viral in January of 2020, right? January and February of 2020, that video went viral. It's now almost 2 million views. I think that was January of 2020. That was before the pandemic. So let me go back on that. Okay, so the catalyst then, and that video went viral, and I made $8,000 in 1 month from my YouTube channel from mostly from that video. So let me change my answer. Okay, let me change my answer. So that was a video. So doing interviews on my YouTube channel opened things up. Going from my YouTube channel is where I talk to my YouTube channel is a place where we share, where I bring other people in who know stuff I don't know or who have, different experiences. That was the thing I think that really first took the training wheels off of my channel, right? Once I went from me being the talker only to me doing interviews and bringing on guests, I think that was the first boost. Yeah, I think that was it. Um, I made sure I knew how to make a good YouTube video, how to make a video that the YouTube algorithm, would want to share with strangers, right? Would want to suggest to other people. That's what I teach in my Get Found on YouTube masterclass and in my YouTube Success 5-Day Challenge. What I learned very early on was you have to tell YouTube who you want it to suggest your videos to, right? My YouTube video titles are not cute, right? They are very specific and direct, right? How I did blank, right? And then 4 Black women abroad, or 4 Black women expats, or 4 Black women who want more ease in their lives, right? I learned how to make sure that my titles and the content inside of my videos gave YouTube all the data it needed to know who to suggest things to. YouTube is owned by Google. They know a lot about you. Okay, for better or for worse, YouTube and Google know a lot about you. So if I say this is for Black women who are fed up with a toxic job, YouTube knows you're fed up with your toxic job. Okay, and it will do a better job of suggesting the videos to you. It knows that based on what other things you watch and search. Years ago, what class was I in? I was in some class. Like I said, I was a serial student. I'll quit school and go back to school over and over and over again. I was in some class, and they talked about my first introduction to algorithms was Target could predict pregnancies based on your previous Target shopping. They could tell you were pregnant maybe before you knew you were pregnant, right? Pregnant pregnant people would go into Target and start looking for unscented stuff, right? And she's not buying pads anymore. She's not normally she's in here in Target buying pads every so many months. She hasn't bought any pads in a while, and now she's looking for unscented this and unscented that. I think she's pregnant. Let me send her some coupons for maternity things, right? That was my first introduction to algorithms. Algorithms are running what we see and how we're marketed to and how we engage on the internet. It's not all good, but it's not all bad. But it's not all good. Okay? But the YouTube algorithm, I think, is the best in the social media space. As far as between YouTube, if YouTube is social media, which I would not call YouTube social media, but I know most people do, right? YouTube is not social media. It is a search engine, as far as I'm concerned, but whatever. But out of Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and Snapchat, which still exists, which I didn't know still existed, right? Out of all of those, YouTube is the best at predicting what you want to see and suggesting that to you. And so I learned how to do that. I learned how to tell YouTube what my stuff is about and who it's for. My titles are clear. And I start my videos telling you exactly what we're going to talk about. I use my words. I use the keywords that YouTube will recognize in the very beginning of a video, because then YouTube will be like, oh, this video is about moving abroad with very little money. I know some people interested in moving abroad who have very little money, right? This video is about this thing. I know people who are interested in it because they watched this other video about moving abroad, and they watched this other video about very little money, right? YouTube can connect the dots and put two and two together better than a person could. And I learned very early to do that, to talk to the YouTube algorithm with my videos, not just to you. I talk to you, right? But I also talk to the YouTube algorithm. I give it the data that it needs so that it can suggest my work to people who will want to watch it. Most of you here who are here right now, the algorithm suggested a video to you. Some of you are here because somebody else suggested my videos to you. But most of you are here because the algorithm was like, you're interested in this and this. I think you'll be interested in this. That's the thing that YouTube does better than any other platform on the internet. So I use that to my advantage by saying clearly what my keywords are, learning how to do keyword research, using those keywords in the video, in the description, in the title, in the tags, and knowing what other videos and what other channels my ideal audience was watching, and also telling YouTube I'm related to that, right? If they're interested in this subject, I'm related to that, right? I teach this in my Get Found on YouTube Masterclass and in my YouTube Success Challenge. If you go to my website, vicarious.com, you'll see information. You'll see the wait list for the challenge, and you'll see the Get Found on YouTube Masterclass, which you can take today, right? You can take the Get Found on YouTube Masterclass today. The YouTube Masterclass and the YouTube Challenge cover the exact same information, just in a different format. The Masterclass, you can watch it whenever you're ready, today. The challenge happens whenever I'm ready, right? Which I believe will be the week that is end of July, early August. If you get on the wait list now, you'll if you get on the wait list now, go to vicarious.com. You'll see the challenge. Get on the wait list now. You'll be notified when it's time to get on the challenge, which will be soon. Right, Clarice and I will open that up very soon. Today's the 13th already. Yes, YouTube research, homework, plus interviewing people, plus going from me being the only talker to interviewing other people. That gives YouTube a whole lot more data. It gives me a whole better reach because other people are involved. So interviewing other people was also the catalyst. How do you get prescriptions filled abroad if you stay away from for a year? I'm not on any prescription medication, but I'm gonna tell you what I've heard. Okay, I've interviewed enough women. I have an answer for this, even though I don't take any medications. Okay, what I know that they do. First, some prescription items might be over the counter where you're going. Surprise. Okay, some prescription drugs might be over the counter where you're going. You may be able to Google that and find out. You may not be able to Google that. You may not find that out until you get there and go to the pharmacy. Okay. But for the most part, women are getting a good supply before they go. You can get more than a 3 month supply if you're going away, right? Talk to your pharmacy and your doctor. Get a good supply before you go. Make sure that you're figuring out how many you're allowed to take into the country, though. If you're going to the Middle East, I don't know, right? There's different rules. In a lot of places, put your stuff, put some in your carry-on and the rest in your check bag. You're not going to have any problems. In the Middle East, I don't know if that's the case. Okay, I need to say that. Okay, get a whole bunch before you go, and then when somebody comes down, you have them bring your refills, right? Somebody coming to visit you, good. Here's what you can do for me. Stop by Walgreens, pick up this prescription for me. Um, yeah, I think those are the answers, right? Get a whole lot before you go. Have somebody bring stuff down to you, and you might very well, uh, not very well. There is a chance that what you take as a prescription medication in the U.S. could possibly be over the counter in another place. Okay, how did we do on the questions? I don't see a whole lot of cues down here, so I skipped over them all, either I skipped over everything, or you didn't have any more questions. Yes, Gay, I got my reservation. Thank you to all of you who told me to do that. So I got my reservation for Yosemite. I'm super excited to go. I'm very, very excited. I don't know if I have warm enough clothing, but I'm very excited to go. My plan for this week in Yosemite is to read a couple of books, including the book that I was just gifted. And I'd like to write a book that is just something. Write something, right? A very, very basic, rough draft. I don't think it'll be my house sitter who solves crimes book because that's going to have to be, there's a lot of moving parts. You have to figure things out when you're writing a mystery. I don't think I want to write that. Just something stupid, right? Write something ridiculously, frivolously stupid. I'm on the tail end of job detox, being ready for the world. And I just want to write something fun because you see how I'm rolling my eyes. I'm really proud of my book. I'm really proud of Job Detox, but also it was a lot of hard work. And I'm so sick of it. Right? I'm at the tail end. It's going to be ready for the world soon. Finally. Thank you for your patience. And I'd like this week to write something really stupid and fun, something that I can start and finish in 4 or 5 days. Short and sweet and fun. Kat from Rebloom Room asked, now that the online Exodus Summit group is so large, would you consider removing it off of Facebook? We would love to move Exodus Summit off of Facebook. We do not want to figure out how to move Exodus Summit off of Facebook. We would love to, but who won't do it? I think the problem is, if one of the problems is if we moved it off of Facebook, it would have to become a paid thing because we're going to have to move it to a platform that's going to cost us money. And it would have to become a paid group, a paid community. And I don't know that people want that. Um, Facebook is so difficult, right? Facebook is so difficult and so stupid and not nice. That is a thing that we would want to do. I don't know if we're ever going to do it because who's going to do it, right? Like, who's going to do it? Who's going to figure it out? I don't know. And I think even still, for every summit, we'd still want to have a free Exodus Summit Facebook community, even for, I don't know how it would work. I don't know how it would work if we moved off of Facebook because We would want to give people access to some group for the virtual summit. And I think it would have to be a Facebook group for the virtual summit. I don't think strangers who register for a summit would want to go to a third party platform that they've never heard of before, whereas they would go to Facebook. I don't know. I don't know the answer, Kat. Would we consider? Yes, we're already considering. Are we going to do it? Not this year, probably not next year, unless somebody falls from the sky and is like, here's how this will work. Latrice also recommends the digital nomad kit. Okay. So virtual assistants or virtual assistants to be, this is where people are going to learn how to do this thing. Yosemite for a week, just because I want to. It's not a house sit. I just want to. I've never been. I'm excited. Wiz is good. Good. Joyful one. Do I ever get lonely when I travel solo? If I do, how do I handle it? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Do I ever get lonely? I'm not less than usual. Most things, I think I'm a pretty average person. But I think with the loneliness slash what is the word? Hermit gene. I have a hermit gene, which lets me be alone longer and more than most people. But in foreign countries where everybody speaks a different language, you can't understand things, and right? Yeah, I guess I've been lonely. I can't pinpoint a time right now when I've been lonely. I think I am above average in my tolerance for aloneness. But what I do is right now, listen, I got access to 17,000 Black women around the world, and I just be like, hey, I'm in your city. Who wants to have lunch with me? Which is exactly what we did yesterday in San Francisco. Before that, if you're not in, or if you're in the Exodus Summit community, that's what we do. That's the answer. If you're not in the Exodus Summit community, find a place where there are people who you think you're going to like in that place. There are Facebook groups for travelers and expats in almost any city that you're going to want to go to. So you can meet people that way. When I first started traveling full time, I stayed in hostels. So there was always people everywhere. Just like they're in the bed underneath me. I'm in the bunk bed, right? They're in the same bunk bed with me. There's people there. I go to breakfast. There's people there, right? And you just be like, what are you doing today? Or what did you do yesterday? And they tell you, and they invite you to go someplace with them, or you invite somebody to go someplace with you. Staying in hostels may be an answer to why I've never felt lonely on the road, because I've done a lot of staying in hostels. But also, I think I just have a higher tolerance for aloneness. I think it's my favorite. I have been in a house by myself for weeks and weeks without seeing or talking to other people. I've gone other times without jobs. This is my sabbatical, my career break in 2015, where I traveled full time, is not the only time I haven't worked in my adult life. And so I've had long periods of time where I didn't see people. I just stayed in the house and didn't even really talk to people on the phone or anything. I am a hermit by nature. I am a hermit. I took a personality test and it said the word hermit, right? It said hermit. I'm not exaggerating. I know I'd be on here talking. I'm a talker. I'm a talkative person, but I am a hermit, and I'm naturally inclined to spend a lot of time alone. Okay. That doesn't mean that people who don't like to be alone can't solo travel. You just do one of the other things that I just mentioned, right? Stay in a place where there's other people and turn to those other people and say, hi. Did you see anything interesting today? Oh, that's awesome. What are you seeing tomorrow? You want to come with me? Whatever, right? It's a really easy thing to do. Or get in a community, get in a Facebook group or an online community for people, for travelers or for tourists or for immigrants or for expats. And when they do something, you go. You don't have to even plan it. You don't even have to say anything, right? This meetup yesterday, I went into Exodus Summit and I said, who's in San Francisco or the Bay Area? I'm staying at the J Hotel. Who wants lunch or dinner? I said, you want breakfast, lunch, or dinner? And the first responses were lunch on Friday. Right? So people came who didn't have to plan anything, didn't even have to reach out. All they had to do was know how to get to the J Hotel, walk in the door, and we were good to go. So that is the solution, right? Be prepared for loneliness before you go someplace, right? Be prepared for loneliness by saying, how do I find a group of people? Is there a Facebook group? Another small thing you can do is just take a day tour. Take a day tour. I think that's probably, now I'm thinking about other reasons that I may have not have ever felt lonely. When I traveled for a year, I did a lot of day tours. Now that I travel slower and more long term, I do less day tours than I used to. But I used to do day tours, right? We're going to take a walking tour of the market. Okay, I'm in. We're going to take a boat tour of snorkeling in the something. Okay, I'm in. So there are ways that you can spend time with people even when you're traveling solo, so that you don't hate it, right? Being a stranger in a strange place where you don't know anybody is a recipe for disaster. You have to plan ahead for it. So we plan ahead for it by staying places where other people are staying, hotels, hostels, whatever. Even house sits, right? Even house sits, you may be in the house with other people if they leave later or come earlier or whatever. Um, and taking tours, and you can invite people to come with you for short stretches. There are a variety of ways, but plan ahead. Expect to feel lonely at some time and plan ahead for it. Hey, Marley Hall, how do you know when you're ready for YouTube Success Society? If you had any YouTube coaching with me and you've done what I told you to do, if you've done any YouTube coaching with me and you've made some progress, then join us in the YouTube Success Society. If you've not made any progress on what you've already learned, you don't need to learn anything new. You need to implement what you've already learned. So if you've taken my YouTube challenge and I taught you how to make a specific type of YouTube video, and you haven't yet made those videos, you're not making videos on your YouTube channel, the Success Society is not going to be helpful for you because you haven't done the first step, step one, right? YouTube Success Society is not a step one group. YouTube Success Society is monthly coaching for people who are using their YouTube channel to bring clients into a business. So if you don't have a business and you don't have a YouTube channel yet, you're not ready for YouTube Success Society. If you have a YouTube channel and you've been making some videos, you don't need a whole lot. If you've made 5 videos, I think you made 5 videos after the challenge, right? And you have a business, even if you're not getting clients, if you have a business, if you have an idea of a thing that you're offering to people for money, then I think you're ready for YouTube Success Society. If you have a channel that's growing, even if it's growing slowly, you have a channel that's growing and you have a business and you know how to bring people from your channel to your business, you also don't need me, right? Because that's all we're talking. How to grow a channel, how to offer something in a business, and then how to move people from your channel to your business. If you already know how to do that, you don't need me. Keep going. Keep going. Now, some people like to come to group coaching because they like the group aspect. But I'm going to teach you. All I'm going to teach you in YouTube Success Society is how to make videos that will bring in the right clients, and then how to move people from your channel over to your product, your service, your coaching, your business. Right? If you already know how to do that, well done. Keep going. Okay. YouTube Success Society is linked, I believe, on my website, vicarious.com. Everyone who's joined YouTube Success Society has gotten some coaching from me, either individual coaching or through the challenge. I don't, I'm thinking, because I don't know if you would like YouTube Success Society if you've never gotten any coaching from me. I would do one or the other first, individual coaching or YouTube challenge, or get found on YouTube Masterclass. I would do one of those first. And then if you like the way that I coach, then come on over to YouTube Success Society. It's enough of a cost, enough of an investment that I think you need to know that you like working with me first. Although I do talk on this channel a lot. I'm thinking about this. This is the thing that I've never worded it this way. And now I'm like, I don't know, maybe you don't need to have had coaching from me because I talk a lot. If you want to work with me. Okay, vicarious.com is where that information is. If you get the YouTube for Coaches toolkit, even if you're not a coach, okay, if you get the YouTube for Coaches toolkit, it will put you on my email list. And when I email people things, you'll receive them. Okay, this will put you on my YouTube coaching email list. I have 3 different email lists, okay, or 4 actually. So if you're not in my YouTube coaching world, but you want to hear more about the YouTube coaching that I do, go ahead and get the YouTube for Coaches Toolkit, and that will put you in that world. That will get those newsletters out to you. Coaches. Vicarious.com/coaches is where you go to get that toolkit. And then you'll start getting all of my emails about the YouTube coaching that I do. And then you'll know when you're ready. Okay. Then you'll know when you want to join us. We talk on Sunday, which is tomorrow. We do coaching tomorrow. And we're talking about, what is tomorrow? Sunday. Yeah, it's tomorrow. And we're talking about a specific type of video, the how I type of video. So we alternate. We talk about YouTube and then we talk about business and then we talk about YouTube and we talk about business. We talk about those, we alternate every month. So this week on tomorrow, we're talking about a specific video, the how I video. Most of the women in YouTube Success Society are coaches. They do some coaching. We have a couple of women who provide a service but are not coaches, but most are coaches. And so tomorrow we're talking about the specific how I video. Sometimes coaches get so caught up in coaching that they forget to share their own story. And their own story is how people connect with you and how people know what it would be like to actually work with you, right? When you're always Little Miss Perfect who has the answers as a coach on your YouTube channel, it can be off-putting to people because we all feel like we're exceptional or the exception. I don't mean exceptional as in up here. We all feel like we're the exception to things, right? So she's talking about, if you're a life coach, so she's talking about how to decide what you want for your life, but I'm 50, but I'm a mom, but I'm not a mom, right? We all think that there's something that makes us the exception. And we all think that there's something that means that your thing may not be right for us. And when you share your story, when you share how I did whatever, it helps people understand, oh, if she can do it, I can do it, right? If she can fix this thing, I can work on fixing this thing. So anyway, tomorrow we're talking about the how I video. We're going to outline some how I videos for our channels going forward, how to share our own journey, our own story, because you don't want to no matter how good of a coach you are, right? You don't want to present on YouTube or wherever in your business as Little Miss Perfect, because nobody wants to work with Little Miss Perfect. Nobody's going to pay her for coaching. The Flying Virgo, do you have a routine for every place you travel? If so, could you share it? I have a very small routine. When I land in a place, I get cash out of the ATM immediately. If I don't, then I'll be wandering around the city. It's just a funny feeling to not have cash, even though most places take cards everywhere. It's just a really funny feeling to not have any cash on you. So as soon as I land, I get cash out of the ATM, and I often get a SIM card. Not always. I use the Google Fi SIM card. So I pay 10 gigabytes of data is $10, I think. Something like that. $60 a month gets me 6 gigabytes of data. I think that's how it works. But in some places, it's cheaper to get a SIM card there. And if I'm going to be there for a while, right? So I often will get a SIM card, go up to the airport. And then Google Fi gets funny with me sometimes. If I'm out of the country for too long, they'll cut me off anyway. So money out of the ATM, and then I usually get a SIM, either eSIM or SIM card. I like to take public transportation right away if I'm going to be taking public transportation there. I have a funny thing where the longer I'm in a place, the more intimidated I get by the metro system. So if I'm there and I know I'm going to need to take the metro, I take the metro right away. Because if I don't, then I'm stuck. Once I get into town, it's harder, into the city, it's harder in my mind for me to start taking the metro. I get really intimidated by it and afraid of it. Right? So take the metro right away if it's a place where there is metro. If it's a place where Uber is cheap, I'm Ubering. Okay. In South Africa, Uber. In South Africa, I took Uber Black. Okay. Pick me up in the Benz. Okay. But if it's a place with a metro system and with expensive Ubers, I try to take the metro right away. For example, coming here from the airport. Now I had so many bags with me that I was like, well, I'm only here for 2 days. But I had so many bags with me that I was like, I'm gonna have to get. I can't take the Uber. I can't take the metro. I mean, I can't take metro. I got a carry-on bag, a backpack, a check, and two check bags, and then a small tote bag, right, and my purse. And so I was like, I'm gonna have to Uber here, and that means I know I'm not gonna take the BART the whole time I'm here. Now it's only 2 days, but anyway, those are the three things. And then once I get to where I'm staying, I walk around to try to do a little preliminary walk because I hate the idea of being in a place and then finding out later that there was something awesome like right there. Take a little preliminary walk around. Also look for an ATM close to where I'm staying. Uh, and that's my little routine. That's my little I just landed here routine. Because I'm a house sitter, I just got to this house sit routine, which includes running a load of dishes through the dishwasher. And that's about it. That's about it. Once I have a SIM card and a little bit of cash, I'm off to the races. It's all good. Tiffany Celeste, how do you safeguard your belongings when you stay in a hostel? Most hostels have a what they call locker. I only booked hostels that had a locker. You have to bring your own lock, right? Bring your own lock. Make sure you have a combination lock, not a key lock. You don't want to lose the key. Little combination locks. And most of them have a locker. Some of them have a standing locker, which for my big bag was usually a problem. And I would sometimes take the most important things out of my big bag and put them in the standing locker and lock them in. I've done that and left my bag out. Um, but most nowadays have underbed locker storage. So think of the length of a bunk bed. You have half of that. So you have that much space to put all your stuff under there and lock it. Um, I don't think I ever stayed in a hostel that didn't have some sort of locker. And that's it. That's it. Keep it safe by locking it up. You'd be surprised how after a while you just don't lock your stuff up. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many times I left I left my hostel with my laptop under the pillow. I'm sick of locking things up over and over. There's four of us in this room. You know, some of the rooms are really small. There's four of us in this room. Look, her laptop, I can see her laptop from here. Everybody's got the same stuff. They don't want my stuff. I don't want their stuff. You'd be surprised how often that happens. But there is always a locker. I don't think I've ever stayed in a hostel that didn't have some sort of locker. I don't think I ever did. And like I said, if the locker is small, then I would take out the important stuff and put it in there. Leave my suitcase out, but take the most important stuff and lock it up in there. Do I have any plans to go to Belize? No. People talk about Belize as though they love it, but I don't believe them. I don't believe them because they never say exactly what they loved about it. I think people love Belize because they speak English there. I don't know what people love about Belize. I'm not interested in Belize. If I'm missing something, Bluebell 1920, tell me. Tell me what I'm missing. This is me. I talk about things very matter of factly when I don't know. I don't know, right? I don't know anything about Belize except they speak English. People who love it, but they never say why they loved it, right? I just told you, Fiji, the people were amazing. The service was fantastic. The hotel was beautiful. The weather was great, right? People say, oh, I love Belize, and then they don't go any further. So do you love it? Somebody tell me. I never believe people when they say they love Belize. I never believe them. I promise you, because they never elaborate. PIE management. Will Exodus Summit ever be in person or always online? Ideally, it will be in person at some point, or at least hybrid, where some people will be there and some people will be online. This is not a matter of us not wanting to do it that way. This is a matter of pandemics and diseases. Every time we have an Exodus Summit meetup, and that's just 100 people, every time we have a meetup of 100 people, COVID be like, I'm here. Did y'all miss me? Every time. Every time. Cancun, Morocco, South Africa. Once she is done with her reign of terror, Once the COVID reign of terror ends, we would love to do it in person. It would be awesome. We would love to. But even we can't even get 100 people together without COVID. I can't imagine. I would love to have 1,000 people. I would love to have 1,000 women in one place for Exodus Summit. We would. But we cannot create super spreader events. Okay. That would be ideal. I'm just looking for cues. Do I still want to adopt a child? Yep. I'm going back to Costa Rica to get my stuff started. Yes, indeed. Nick's Tricks 84. How is traveling overland? Do you prefer buses, trains, or renting a car? How's the cost comparison for land travel? It all varies. Depends on where you are. Yeah, I was going to say depends on time of the year, but I don't think that's the truth. I think it depends on where you are in the world. I've really enjoyed overland travel. I traveled overland throughout Vietnam on buses, and they do those overnight buses where it's a bunk beds on a bus, which was really fun. I don't know why it was fun to me, but it was fun. I've done ferries. I did a ferry in the Philippines. I think it was more than 12 hours. No, it was more than that. I had to eat 2 meals on that ferry. It might have been 12 hours, 2 meals on that ferry. That's not overland. You said overland. I'm just thinking about travel. I like it. I've also rented cars. I rented a car. Did a bunch of one-way car rentals in South Africa. I like it all. I like trains. I know that's not helpful. I like it all. I would love to do some RVing. That's a thing I've never done. I've never done any RVing or camper vanning. If I go back to Iceland, that's what I'm gonna do. Oman looks like also a wonderful place to RV, and New Zealand looks like a wonderful place to RV, and so do Scotland and Ireland, but I haven't done them. Um, so, how is overland travel? I love it. Do I have a preference? No, I like it all. I like those overnight buses because it's just like I'm in a bus and I'm sleeping. I don't know. I like that. I also like trains. Trains, you get a good amount of space in your seat. You have a food car. I like renting a car because you can stop whenever you feel like it, see whatever you want, drive as long as you want or as short as you want. I like it all. Cost comparison. So the cost, it just really it differs. There are places where it's really inexpensive to rent a car, even with good insurance, right? There are places where it's more expensive to rent a car. There are places where the trains are really inexpensive, and there are places where the trains are expensive. There are places with no trains. Costa Rica, you got no trains, right? Costa Rica, you basically have to rent a car to go to from San Jose to a beach, unless you want to take a tourist van. As a solo person, those tourist vans don't work for me. They don't let you book them far enough ahead of time, and you never really have a confirmed spot unless you're booking 3 or 4 seats. Yeah. So I didn't answer any of your questions. I like it all. I like it all. I would prefer if I could do everything overland without flying. I think I would do that. And we're going to add in boats. If I could travel without flying, I would. I would. Oli says we're all in this together. Hello, Oli. Yeah, YouTube knows a lot about you. It's a tool that you can use as a creator on the internet because YouTube knows a lot about you. I don't think TikTok knows what you're into. TikTok knows what everyone is into and it recommends everything to everyone. Instagram don't care. Instagram is like, here's some ads, suck it up, right? The YouTube is the best at that. And so using that to your advantage is an advantage. Baby girl H2O, would you recommend ebook or online course for income? Neither. Don't nobody want to read your book. Don't nobody want to take your course. Okay? What people want is the interaction of coaching. Now, having said that, either one. I sell all of these. I sell courses, I sell coaching, and I sell a book. I think you're going to get the most satisfaction as a coach from coaching. If this is what you're talking about. If you're talking about something else, let me know. But if you're talking about your coach, I think you're going to get the most satisfaction from coaching. I know that takes up your time and your effort, but there's a way that you can do it. Like I just told you, I do two different types of coaching once a month, right? House Sitter School is once a month. YouTube Success Society is once a month. Um, you're going to get the most satisfaction from actually coaching your clients. I think that's my mentality today as a coach. And when I'm no longer interested in coaching clients, I'm packing it up. I think, yeah, I think that people will buy your course, but will they finish your course? Will they actually start it first? And then will they finish it? No, no. People will buy your book. I think people will read your book. People will be more likely to read your book, but will they implement? I don't know. I think coaches get the most satisfaction from coaching. Now, if you're talking about something else, if you're not talking about coaching, you're talking about something else, ask me a different way. All right. I think we made it. Did we make it through the list? I think I made it through all the questions with Q in front. I think so. Yeah, so Costa Rica, okay. Costa Rica does have buses that go to the beach towns, right? I'm not riding them buses, but they do have them. They do have them. Mexico spoiled me for buses. They're not, these are not what is that bus I like that, in Mexico? Q, QTN, it's not QTN. ATN, I don't know what it is. Mexico has spoiled me for buses, and Costa Rica, I'm like, girl, where the luxury buses at? Mexico does that one bus that's ETN, is it ETN? Two levels, double decker bus. One row has two seats, one row has one seat. So you can sit by yourself on the bus, right? During these COVID times, it's really nice to ride that bus. I think it's ETN. Mexico has spoiled me for buses. Okay, I did answer. Okay, good. Okay. All right, I'm just scrolling really quickly. Did I cover health insurance? No. Health insurance, country two. How do you cover for health insurance? So, first, understand that in a lot of the places that you probably want to go, if they have good health care, it's probably something that you could pay for out of pocket. I just talked to somebody the other day who said having a baby in, where was she said? She said $3,000 to have a baby, $3,000 total to have a baby uninsured in Costa Rica. $3,500 uninsured to have a baby in Costa Rica. Okay, so some things, understand that out of pocket is a much more doable thing than you know. Paying for your healthcare out of pocket is much more doable than you think it is in other parts of the world. Okay, so private health insurance exists for nomads. World Nomads Alliance, Now Health, Now Health, I think. Private health insurance exists. And then there's also travel medical insurance. I think that's Alliance and World. I'm getting two things mixed up. Travel medical insurance. No, are they the same? I need an insurance person to come and talk on here. There is insurance that you buy. Okay, so I have travel medical insurance through Alliance, which covers me for hospitalization and catastrophic things or needing to be medically evacuated. But I don't have insurance inside of Costa Rica for long-term stays. Once I get residency in Costa Rica, then I'll switch over to private insurance. I'll probably keep travel medical insurance because I plan to keep traveling. So I'll probably keep my travel medical insurance, but then I'll also add in a private health insurance from like Now Health or whoever insures private people in Costa Rica. Okay. But Costa Rica has universal health care also. But I want to be able to go to the good, expensive hospitals. So that's going to require private insurance. As I've said many times, I've never spoken to anybody on this channel about their insurance who is paying more than $1,500 for a year of private medical insurance, right? Everybody I've interviewed, I've asked them about their private insurance. It's always been $1,500 per year or less, okay? So the plan for people who are moving abroad or who are bopping around full time is to have some travel medical insurance, which will cover you while you're bopping around, and have private medical insurance for the country you're going to, okay? And also pay out of pocket for things that your insurance doesn't cover, okay? Uh, yeah, pay out of pocket for things. You'll be surprised at what things cost. We've talked about this a few different times on this channel, but healthcare around the world is not viewed as a profit-making mechanism. Right. In the US, healthcare for profit is totally normal. Healthcare for profit. But that's not how the rest of the world operates. I don't know about all of the countries in the world, but most of the countries in the world, that's not how it works. Right? Healthcare is a thing that people need to live. It's not a way to make a profit. It's not an industry for profit. It's an industry for care. There's care in healthcare in other places. But I thought, was that an answer? Julie Brinkley, have I been to Egypt yet? No. How is it there for Black American women, the men, safety? Not the best. Does not have a reputation for being a place where you're going to feel safe as a woman traveling alone, Black or not. And doesn't have a reputation for being a friendly place to Black people. But that don't mean you don't go, right? I've been to Morocco, exact same from Morocco. Well, I don't know about exact same, but very similar. We still go to places with a little extra precautions. Maybe that's a place you go with a tour guide, pay a tour guide. Egypt is a place where I know women go and they pay a tour guide. Jewel, hi. How time consuming was it being a virtual assistant? Very time consuming because, like I said, I spent a lot of time prospecting for clients because I didn't have a clientele that would come back to me over and over again for projects. So I always needed new clients, and it was very time consuming. But okay, you need to understand what I mean. I'm talking about 20 hours a week. Maybe if I had put 40 hours per week in, I may have done a little better. But I didn't want to. Okay, we're talking 20 hours per week, and I was not even making enough money to eat, right? I was getting free accommodation for house sitting. All I needed was to pay for flights, a flight every now and then, because I moved very slowly, a flight every 6 months. And I needed to eat food, and I still wasn't making enough. My parents, I was like, how soon is my birthday? When am I going to get some birthday money? Let's see, Valentine's Day is coming up. Is my mom going to send me some Valentine's Day money? Right? So for me, it was very time consuming, but it would have been much less time consuming if I had used one of these resources that I pointed you to today, or more, one or all of those resources. And if I had understood how to pick a clientele, provide a service that was going to better suit the lifestyle I wanted and better support me. I was not thinking about that. When I chose to help new coaches, I wasn't thinking about the fact that new coaches wouldn't have the money to pay. Because they're not making any money yet, Stephanie. They're not making any money. They're not going to pay you to make this thing. Okay? I didn't think about that. Okay. Any advice for moving to Cambodia? For moving anywhere, check out the visa situation, learn how to get residency there. You don't want to you don't want to live in a place where you're really on a tourist visa, where at any time they could say, "Oh no, you can't come back in." So make sure you know how to get residency there. I don't know about residency in Cambodia. I don't know. It's not one of the places I know about. Make sure that you, it's inexpensive. It's a nice, inexpensive place. Make sure you can deal with heat and humidity. Heat and humidity in Southeast Asia is on another level. Okay. I know some of y'all are from Houston, some of y'all are from wherever, New Orleans. I've been to those places and I've been to Southeast Asia. They are not the same. Okay. Be okay with heat and humidity and spicy food. Cambodia. Get in contact with the community of expats there. There's a lot of foreigners in Cambodia. Most are passing through. Most are there for 30, 60, 90 days. But there are some who are around. So make sure you get in community with them. Find the groups. Find out where they are online and get in community with them. And I don't have any other advice. Cambodian people were nice to me. I couldn't communicate at all with them in Khmer. Didn't even try. Uh, I liked Phnom Penh is the capital. I didn't like it as much as the other places that I went in Cambodia. Not to say that I didn't like Phnom Penh, but I liked the beach, whatever the beach was, something, and the island Koh Rong and even Siem Reap. I like them better than Phnom Penh, but Phnom Penh had better restaurant choices. It was very hipster. Lots of hipstery restaurants. Lots of Instagrammable restaurants. Cambodia, this is the only place where I was turned away from temples. Normally in Southeast Asia, no matter what I was wearing, as long as I put a big scarf around me, they would let me in, right? I'm wearing a tank top, but I got this big old scarf wrapped around me. Well, I don't have it right here, right? And they would let me in. In Cambodia, he was like, "You can't come in." And I said, "I can't?" And he said, "No, you're not wearing a shirt." Because I had a tank top on and I had the thing over top of me. And he was like, "No, you're not wearing a shirt." So respect their rules. If you want to rent a motorbike or whatever, learn how to ride, go with the flow in that place. Uh, Enjoy it. Be okay with heat and humidity. Get okay with heat and humidity. T. Gaynor Jennings. I'm going to New York on the 19th. Let's see, I'm flying on the 19th. I'm only going to be in New York the 20th and 21st. There's an Exodus Summit meetup in New York City on the 21st, I believe. Let me double check that. Let me see if that's true. Chats. Exodus Summit, New York City, Sunday, July 21st. So get inside the Exodus Summit Facebook group to find location and time. Exodus Summit, New York City gathering, July 21st. Okay, so get inside the Exodus Summit Facebook group at exodussummit.com/community. I did it. Boom, did it. Okay, get inside the Exodus Summit Facebook group to find out where and what time. All right. I'll be there. And then I leave the evening of the 21st. I leave that evening going back to Delaware. So it's just popping in. I'm just going to see the Wiz on Saturday at 2. I'm going to see the Wiz on Saturday. I think with Latina. So Latina, did you see my, let me look. Let me see. Latina, how do you feel about 2 p.m.? Are you ready for me to get our tickets? Glambazini is also okay. 2 p.m. is good. Okay, I'm gonna get some tickets. I'm gonna send you your ticket. Okay. Glambazini is also a life coach. So when you see, so we talked earlier about, am I a life coach? No. How do you get a life coach? You find somebody you like. Okay. So there are, um, yeah. So thank you for that, Latina. Glambazini, Glamazini. Her name is Roshni. She might be here. Hi, Roshni. Also a life coach. I would watch their videos and see if you want coaching from them. It's a pretty standard solution. Okay, so we've pointed you to 2 today, Ivana and Roshni. But yeah, I would ask YouTube for some help. That's what I would do. or by starting out on their channels. Now, Ivana, I don't know that Ivana has a YouTube channel. I know she has Instagram. Start on their platforms, Instagram, YouTube. See if this is a coach that you want to coach you, right? Through this portion of your life. Thank you, Latina. Okay, I'm gonna send you the tickets. I'm gonna send you a ticket. Okay. Oh, I wonder if it's in the group. So they sent me a WhatsApp message. I wonder if it's in the group. Let me find out from Francis. And I should just put it in the group. Let me do that today, okay? I need to get off here in a few minutes. I'm gonna ask my hotel for a late checkout. Usually they make you wait, right? So I need to wait. I needed to wait until 10 to make sure I can get a late checkout. So it's almost 10 here. It is 9:49. So we'll wrap this up at 10. I'll confirm that I can get a late checkout, and then I'm gonna go back to sleep. Hold on, housekeeper's knocking on my door. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Hi. Oh, hello? Oh, were you knocking on my door? Okay. She changed her mind. I changed my mind. Okay. Siobhan 1228. Any suggestions for when to change US dollars to pesos? Never. Just pull pesos out of the ATM. I don't know that you're going to get a good deal for converting your money. Just pull pesos out of the ATM. You don't need to take dollars and unless you okay, if you have okay. You don't need to take dollars and convert them ever. Just go to the ATM in that country, make sure you have a card that doesn't charge you a foreign transaction fee, right? Bank with a bank that doesn't charge a foreign transaction fee. Pull your money out of the ATM. Now, if you happen to have cash and you do want to convert it, your bank is probably the best place to do it. Your bank in the US before you go is probably the best place to do it because otherwise I think you're not going to get a good deal on the money. But it's 2024, you don't need to convert money, right? Just pull it out of the ATM. Let the ATM do that. When you go to the ATM, it'll ask you, do you want to use this conversion rate or something? Always decline for the ATM to create the conversion rate. Just decline. You'll see it'll say something about conversion rate, something, something. Just say decline. Um, and that's the way that you get the best bang for your buck. That's the way you get the most money for your dollars. You don't need to carry cash with you to a new country. Just go to the ATM once you get there and pull it out as needed, remembering that in most places you're just going to use your card. Unveiled believer, why wouldn't I recommend Mauritius? I think for the amount of effort and money it takes to get there are much better options. Much better options in terms of the people, much better options in terms of the food, much better options in terms of the experience. Okay. Mauritius's ocean water was warm. That may be the thing it has going for it more than anything else. You step into the ocean and it's warm water. It's wonderful. Okay. Other than that, I don't think it's an experience that anybody needs to add to their list. Any island, go to any island, right? Go to any island. People are going to be nicer to you. The food is going to be better. Um, right? Even Fiji, which took a while to get to, right? I had to fly from Costa Rica, I had to fly to California and then to Fiji, right? That took a lot of effort to get to it. Much better experience than Mauritius. I can't imagine someone. So Keena Williams did say she really likes going to Mauritius. She lives in South Africa. She lives in Johannesburg. She likes flying over to Mauritius. She did say she liked it. But I can't imagine too many people being like, oh my gosh, I love it here. It's just a place. It's pretty. It's an island, right? With beaches. But there's no wow. Right? There's no draw. There's nothing that's going to make you be like, oh my gosh, this was such a great experience. So go someplace where, even if it takes as much effort as it takes to get to Mauritius, Go someplace where you're going to like enjoy it, where you're going to be like, oh, this was great. The food was good and the people were good. You're not going to like, that's not the experience in Mauritius. Not good food and not good people. What's the point? Right? What's the point? You can get used to the water not being that warm. If you step in the ocean and you're like, oh, it doesn't feel like bath water. Well, just stand there for a few minutes. It will. It'll start to feel warmer to you. There's no life coach Latina. Okay, so life coaches, holler, shout yourselves out, okay? Because I didn't do a good job. I didn't do a good job. Mostly, I was just concerned with people understanding that I am not a life coach, and that is not how you should be listening to me. Okay, I am a bossy person who talks a lot. I am not here to coach you into your own decisions. I'm here to tell you what I think. Understand that, okay? Life Coach Latina has a YouTube channel, Empowered to Shine with Coach Latina. Watch her videos. Roshni Glamazzini, watch her videos, okay? Let the life coach speak to you, and you decide on what like plan of attack you're going to take with your life with life coaching, okay? Don't come to this channel, Rashida, your dream strategist, okay? Life coaches, shout yourselves out, okay? These are YouTube channels that you should go over now. You can open up a second tab now and subscribe to, and maybe pull up a video so that it'll autoplay when you're done with this one. Okay, or you can go now, watch some videos now. Okay, if you're looking for a life coach, these are Black women life coaches who you'll want to like get to know. Okay. All right. Thank you, y'all, for shouting yourself out, because I was like, not me. All I could think about was not me. Esther, is it possible to live abroad on $680 a month from disability? That's low today. There was a time when I'd be like, yeah, go to Cambodia, right? That's not money is funny, right? Money's value changes based on when people say it changes. I would use some tools. Okay, first I would get in some communities with people. No, first I would use some tools in the Exodus Summit Work from Anywhere Toolkit, even though you're not asking about work. Inside of the Exodus Summit Work from Anywhere Toolkit, you'll see some calculators, some cost of living calculator links, some links to some cost of living calculators. Okay, so I would use some cost of living calculators and see where you can find places that have a cost of living that might fit for you, and then get in community with people on the internet, either Facebook groups or something. Get in community with people and find out for real what they're paying for things. So there might be like, what is the least expensive place I can think of? Cambodia is all I can think of, but we've already talked about that. And that's the flight is far. Maybe like, is Guatemala still really inexpensive? So yeah, right. So you'll want to, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm going to say I don't think so. I don't think that sounds like anything I've heard people talking about lately. There were like Guatemala, there was a time in Guatemala, you could get a $300 per month apartment and be happy. Yeah, Teddy saying Guatemala maybe. So there was a time when you could get a $300 a month apartment in Guatemala and be happy with that and like it, right? But money is funny, and times have changed, and the pandemic changed the cost of living around the world. So I don't know. But that's what I would do to find the answer to that is first use some cost of living calculators and see who says there's the lowest cost of living, and what places would you actually want to be in with a low cost of living. And then I would get in community with people who have moved to those countries, right? People who've lived in the US and moved to those countries, because they're the ones who are going to tell you what things really cost for you, a stranger in a place. And then you're going to want to find out, are these costs recent? So just because someone's telling you that they pay $300 a month for their apartment doesn't mean that you can get that kind of apartment today for $300 a month, right? A person who moved there 2 years ago or 3 years ago is paying those 3-year-old prices. What does it cost today? Also remember that some, I don't think if you're collecting disability, what is it? If you're on, there is a form of disability that you cannot collect if you're not living in the country. Make sure that you can be out of the country and still get that money, right? Those are the 3 steps I would take. Adelia did a under $1,500 video very recently, okay? So go to Picky Girl Travels the World on YouTube. Is your YouTube Picky Girl Travels or Picky Girl Travels the World? Oh, okay, let me change it. Let me just type this. I'm going to take the ad out and put the spaces in because I'm not. Picky Girl Travels the World. That doesn't, I don't think so. Okay, so Kat is saying co-living. Kat is saying you're going to need a roommate, or you may need a roommate for that amount of money, which is a good piece of advice, good information. If you're living with someone else, if you're sharing expenses with someone, 680 is more possible than on your own. Okay? Yeah, so El Salvador, so some places just money is not what it used to be, right? I think Guatemala is the what do we call that now? Is the example of inexpensive living in this part of the world right now. Thank you, Nubianette. Nubianette says traveling with Kristen just did a video on living on $826 per month. So check out Picky Girl Travels the World and Traveling with Kristen for their recent videos on what things cost today. Okay. All right. Okay. I think we did it. It's 10 o'clock now. And I think we did it. I think I answered your questions. Oh, Margaret, one more. Margaret Pauline, is there a weather dupe for San Francisco somewhere abroad? There are quite a few cities that tout themselves as the city of eternal spring. In Ecuador, is it Cuenca? Deborah, are you here? Is Cuenca the one that's high altitude? So what you want, I think, is high altitude mostly. San Francisco, I don't know why San Francisco is so cold. I don't know why San Francisco is so cold because I don't know. I don't understand it. We're on sea level, right? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. But there are quite a few cities. Even Mexico City had a heat wave, is having a heat wave, but there's a high altitude city where it doesn't normally get hot. Um, um, what is that other eternal spring? Cuenca, Ecuador, I think, and let me Google it real quick. Yeah, I would just look. I would look at high altitude cities. Cities with eternal spring weather. There are a couple of cities that call themselves the city of eternal spring. So let's see. Medellin, Colombia, San Jose, Costa Rica, right? Costa Rica doesn't get to the 90s in San Jose. It stays in the 60s, 70s, and 80s as the high in San Jose, Costa Rica. A whole lot in South America. Someplace in Bolivia, someplace in Chile. Cuernavaca, Mexico. Cuernavaca, which I think is right outside of Mexico City. Is that Cuernavaca or is it a different place? Yeah, so I would just look at that. I would look at who calls themselves the city of eternal spring. And then that might be a good starting place. If you don't want it to be in the 90s and hundreds, you can avoid that. Usually it means high altitude, but not always. But you can do it. You can do it. You can find it. I don't know why San Francisco is weathered like it is. What is going on here? Why? But no, lots of places have bays on the ocean, and they don't feel like this. It's July. The high today is 67 degrees. 60 high today, 67. High tomorrow, 67. High Monday, 67. Right? I would like to wear a tank top, please. I went out yesterday. So yesterday I was wearing a sleeveless shirt. I went outside to pick up my food. Ooh, I was shivering. Puebla, Mexico. Teddy says Puebla. So yeah, Querétaro, Mexico. Querétaro. San Miguel gets kind of warm, doesn't it? So Querétaro. Oh, well, okay. Well, y'all say it. If you say it, then it's so. Querétaro. Hey, Carol. So yeah. So the answer is yes. Quite a few. You can find some places in the world where it does not get piping hot. Okay. And Lima, Porto, Portugal. Yes. Lima, Peru, Cuernavaca. Okay, we've got lots of suggestions. Thank you, friends. All right. The safety ratings, the website is airlineratings.com. Airlineratings.com. I always look it up. One time in Southeast Asia, I accidentally flew on a flight, and I was like, I will never do this again. I need to figure something better out than just hopping on any airline. I cannot trust these people with my life again. And that's when I discovered that I should be looking at airlinesafetyratings.com. I got on that site. It was a 4 out of 7. 4. That airline safety rating was a 4 out of 7. And I had felt that. I felt that. Just checking in, I felt like, I mean, they don't need to see anything from me. I could just be putting anything on this. They're not going to scan my luggage. Buses take more precautions than that airline in Southeast Asia. I don't remember which one it was. But I was like, never again. I don't feel safe on this plane. And then you up in the air, and the plane sounds like it's barely hanging on. So I discovered airlineratings.com, and my personal rule is it must be a 6 or 7 out of 7 for safety. I think the other rating is not out of 7. I don't remember. It's been a while. But for safety, I need it to be a 6 out of 7. Thank you. African Dreams and Haze. Will I be able to get a picture on a camel in Marrakesh? If you go out to the desert, there are day tours. You're going to want to take a day tour out to the desert. I don't think you're going to get a picture. No, you're not going to get a picture in Marrakesh proper. You just need to go out to the desert. Take a day tour. Take one of your days out to the desert. They do like the little desert camp days. You'll enjoy it. If you want. I mean, camel. I didn't get on a camel. I wait. I was right at the max for riding on a camel, and I said, I'm not gonna try it. I'm not gonna. You're not gonna have this camel mad at me. You're not gonna have this mad at me, Shelley Miller. Any suggestions on moving to Jamaica outside of retirement, marriage, or family ties? Yeah. Oh, if you not okay, so don't move to Jamaica if you need to make money in Jamaica. Okay, but if you have a way to make money on the internet, or you have investments or whatever, you have money, move to Jamaica. There's a community called Black Expats and Repats in Jamaica. They have an Instagram account, Black Expats and Repats in Jamaica. Clarice, who is Mocha Moselle, is one of the co-founders of that community. Yeah. Any suggestions? My suggestion is if you need to work in Jamaica, don't move to Jamaica, right? Most places with a lower cost of living, you don't want to have to get a job there to move there. But if you have money from some other way, do it. Okay, yeah. Okay. I just missed the heat wave. I know, Gay. I know I did. But now we back to regular programming. And I'm cold. I'm cold. Yeah, Nichelle said same with the elephants in Cambodia. I think riding elephants is cruel, I think. Riding elephants is not, camels are made to be ridden on, right? That's what they do. Elephants are not made to be ridden on. Their spines are not made for that. I didn't do that either. I did take pictures with some elephants, but I didn't ride on them. Okay. Thank you guys for hanging out for this long live stream. This was longer than normal. Thank you for being here and for asking your questions. Thank you for answering questions from other people in the chat. Thank you for being such a wonderful community and being such helpful people and good friends. I appreciate you so much. Don't forget to check out the links that I dropped during the live stream. I'll go ahead and put them back in the description. If you're watching from the future, if you're watching the replay, hello, friends in the future. I hope it's awesome there. I'll put the links in the description of the video. Okay? Thanks so much, friends. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy weekend. Bye.